Oh, dear.
Guys, just pretend that we're on the couch at Dustin's house.
Oh, then this episode's going to fucking suck.
Episode 0.5.
Hello and welcome to episode 31 of Oh Dear, presented by Bo's Bar. No, you don't have to clap anymore, Lund.
I was going to give us a round of applause.
Not yet. Presented by Bo's Bar and Stage. Thank you. Yes, this is the last formal episode of Oh Dear. We'll just get that out of the way right now. Of course, we do have one more recording planned to say a proper goodbye, but this is as far as Oh Dear goes and our actual format. This is it, but let's not dwell on the negative because we're going to have a lot of fun with this one. For our last ever podcast interview, this already happened. We snagged a pretty not bad guest. Mayor Ken Johnston was in studio with us a week or so ago now. It was a while. We had a great interview with him that you're definitely going to want to hear. So that's coming up in just a bit. First, I have to introduce this motley crew you're about to go on this fantastic voyage with. I'm Ted Emmett, back here again at Communal Creative Studios by Bose. I didn't finish writing the intros here.
Oh, no.
So I don't have any jokes. So you know what? I'm just going to be real nice. It is our last actual episode. So joined by, probably Red Deer's best party planner, one of its biggest fundraisers, Dustin Moore. How's it going?
Oh, yeah. What is this, episode 31?
31, yeah.
Nice comment.
Why wouldn't we end on episode 31? Yeah.
Well, you said it was our last formal episode and me and Walsh dressed up and you wore a fucking backwards hat.
Yeah. How else are you going to know I'm 34 years old and ultra cool if I don't wear a backwards hat?
To be fair, I don't think any of our episodes have been formal episodes, so...
I'm talking about the formal layout of the episode. Yeah.
I know. I had a good pun.
Did you, though?
I don't know.
But also, I dressed up.
Yeah. I think the Lund household missed the boat here, but...
It's laundry day.
I'm doing good, Ted. Excited for the last night, and I'm sure Kevin and I's wives are sitting at home going, thank God that this is over. So
my wife has been saying that for 5 years. So yeah. Oh, I only get to make so many more of those jokes too. God damn it. And my favorite, most handsome businessman in Red Deer, Kevin Walsh. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm very sad that I missed the mayor interview, but looking forward to tonight. So thanks for having me, Ted.
And maybe Red Deer's biggest hidden treasure until he joined this podcast, Ryan Lund. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm not hidden anymore, and I'm easy to find. So thank you, Ted.
Especially when you wear a bright shirt.
Yeah, and that's why I do it.
And Co-Worker Erin, last episode, I know you like your spot over there too, but Andrew's can't be with us tonight for this one, unfortunately. So we're just all here hanging out at the table.
I'm a big fan of the fact that you have to work so hard at your insults, but when you don't have them written down, all you can come up with is nice things to say about everybody. Yeah. I like that.
You heard it here first. I have to try to be mean. But also, I thought it's nice to be nice. It's the holiday season, right? Which means Ryan and Riley, once again, the two busiest people maybe on the planet. So neither of them could be here with us tonight, which is unfortunate, but still took the time to get us set up and get us going here at Communal Creative Studios. And very irresponsibly gave us the keys to the studio for tonight. I don't know. We'll do our best not to trash the place.
Yeah. If you're free tonight, come on down to Creative Community Studios located at... downtown.
Yeah, because this is coming out tonight. Yeah. We'll still be here by the time it comes out for sure.
Yeah, I'm just practicing for my radio gig now that the podcast is over.
Yeah, hey, it's coming.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey, speaking of that, Erin, have you gotten any bites on your ad reader?
I don't know. Ted might be holding them hostage, but I have a feeling no.
No, we'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. Yeah, we got lots to get to. This might be a long episode, a longer interview. Of course, we're probably just going to talk your ear off. So let's get right into it right away. You've been forewarned. Let's get things going with the Glad Game.
The Glad Game is brought to you by Alberta European Motorworks and Alberta Asian Motorworks. Family owned and operated in Red Deer for over 15 years. Learn more at aemw.com and aamwrd.com and follow them on social media. I feel like I need to give an apology to everybody for my voice as I'm getting over a cold, so sorry.
Oh, Erin, your voice has been annoying the whole time. Don't worry.
There's our meme start.
Coming from Eeyore here, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he wrote that one down too. Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to kind of take over the Glad game to start. I know we don't want to dwell too much because this isn't our last actual episode, but one thing I'm glad for, we did make the announcement that the podcast was ending basically, mid-December. And I know just the response we got and the support, which is not surprising at all. But for me personally, like, I don't think it takes a genius to know that the podcast is ending because I'm the one who wants to walk away from it. And it's been a lot. It's been a tough decision. And just mental health wise and to try and focus on some other things in my life, it's the right thing to do. But I'm glad for the support that I've seen. It's not lost on me, even for the people in this room, that it sucks that this podcast is ending. This has been a ton of fun. And I don't know, it might feel like maybe it was being taken away from you, and don't really have any control over that. And same with a lot of people who really enjoy it. But just appreciate the people to have reached out and all of you, just the support for it, because it's not lost on me that it sucks that this podcast is ending. And it was a tough decision. I've gone back and forth a million times. It's just made it a lot easier on me walking away from at least the podcast part of this. So the kind words from everyone in the community too, and being able again to go out on our own terms though, and do this nice little kind of farewell tour. That's not because we think we're so great that we need a farewell tour, but because we just want to say...
You think we're great because you're calling it a farewell tour.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Yeah. But it's to say thank you to all of our supporters, really, is what this is. So yeah, I'm just glad for that, even seeing the support once we announced that we're unfortunately kind of tying a bow on this.
Yeah, Ted, perfect Glad game to end kind of, oh dear. From Ryan, Kevin, myself, and Aaron, and Andrew, don't ever think that this is getting taken away from us. You built this, man.
You gave this to us.
Yeah, you were...
So you can take it away.
Yeah, you were the guy, I say bus driver, but like you led this whole thing and did all the work. We're still going to drink beers as our friend group, like we're doing right now. We're just not going to be in front of a microphone and probably won't get canceled. Like we're still waiting for Lund to get canceled on an edit that you don't do by accident.
I'm too good at editing. Yeah. That's where all the work comes from. I'm sick of it. No.
But, you say mental health and it's so important these days and making sure you're taking care of yourself. And obviously that's at the forefront here, and what you built and what we've built is so cool, and the people we've met and the things we've done along the way with our families. I know me and Kevin with our kids and our wives. So I'm just glad that you were able to put as much time as you did into the podcast, and you've given us a really cool experience and a lot of skills that actually have translated into actually our careers. So 2 snaps. You better have heard that on the mics, by the way.
There you go. That's one of the skills Dustin's learned.
Play snapping.
Yeah. And it's never too late to get canceled. So we'll see how this episode.
No, I appreciate that, Dustin. Like I said, just people reaching out, whether to each of us or as a group, and just telling us to, it feels good knowing that everything we all put into this the last 2 years, everyone put in a lot of time, even just to be here and go and do the things we've done, just to know that it did. Oh, that's a $10 fine for me, making noise on the table. I'll just move that. To know that we did make an impact. We joke that we have tens of fans, but it's really, like, honestly, it's 20. A shocking amount of people.
25.
Yeah. that follow us and interact with us too. So I do appreciate kind of the response to that. And and to anyone, if you are upset, I'm sorry, but thanks for listening and thanks for understanding.
To anyone listening, don't blame Ted. Thank you for driving the bus, as Dustin said. I think he said everything great, so I won't go too much further, but just thank you for your time and effort, and thanks to all of us, but I mean, especially you, Ted. I mean, you were the one that made us do this.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Dustin was the catalyst. We'll talk about that in our farewell episode a little bit too. Dustin actually was the catalyst, but what's amazing, 2 years later, no one has to come on after Dustin says something and add or correct anything. That's amazing. That's personal growth right there.
That's brain development.
That's us getting lazy.
Len's just nodding over there. Good podcast, buddy.
Yeah, like for those of you that can't hear me, I'm just being silent with my answers.
Yeah. Like Dustin when we used to do it on Zoom, and he'd just give a thumbs up to answer.
Yeah. I guess I'll hop on.
Hop on what?
The bus.
Hop on the bus that Ted's been driving and now running off the road, apparently. So it's been a crazy 2 years. If you guys would have said we would have lasted this long after that first episode, I wouldn't have believed it. And the amount of people that have given us help along the way has been incredible. The amount of people that stop us when we're out shopping out in public. It's kind of shocking, actually. So it's something that I'll never forget, and hopefully we can still keep doing a few social media things to keep us busy. And we'll still be drinking beer, and we can still have microphones in front of us, but I guess people just won't
Might
listen
not be
anymore.
plugged in. Yeah. Just go back to the first night, right? With just a phone sitting on the chair and record everything. Lund, to be fair though, I'm not driving the bus off the road. I'm just parking it. Driving something smaller and easier to manage.
Something better on gas.
Yeah.
In this economy. Makes sense.
And to be fair, any of us could have taken over bus driving, but literally nobody else is willing to do the work that you do or has the skills to do what you do and the way that you lead us through these and help prepare us. So, I mean, we could have kept going without you, but there's absolutely no way we would have. No one would insure us.
I would. I just don't have my class 2.
Yeah, nobody's got the bus driver license. So
I appreciate that a lot, and we didn't want to dwell on this episode on the podcast ending, but did want to get that out there because we're very grateful. Myself personally, because of course I did get a job in radio out of this podcast. So thank you everyone for listening and just for your response and your support too. And Lund's right. We're still going to do social media. Bud doesn't know it yet, but we want to fire up Troubled Tea Time again. Still be huge in the community just for the podcast itself. It's getting tough. Everyone's getting busier, right? This started in COVID. And even right when we tried to interview Mayor Ken, we're supposed to record this episode right after. Both of you guys had sick kids. Walsh couldn't make it. Dustin had to leave right away. So it's just kind of an unfortunate reality, right? So
if you're going to blame anybody, blame Kevin and Dustin.
No, that was just an anecdote. Oh, they're kids. Yeah, okay.
Damn kids. Get off my lawn.
But really, right, too, just with work, things going back to normal, it's just kind of where our lives have gone. But we're having fun kind of wrapping this thing up. And something else to be glad for was that Mayor Ken Johnston took the time out of his busy schedule, which we learned was very busy, braved the cold a couple weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, whatever it was, to join us here in studio for what will be our last podcast interview for Oh Dear. Not only that, was very open and candid about some of the issues facing our city, but just got a great look at his personality as well. So before we get into it, Erin, who is this interview brought to us by?
Oh Dear's interview with the mayor is brought to you by Louis Corvo of Warren Sinclair LLP, a Central Alberta law firm dedicated to helping all its clients achieve their business and personal goals. Learn more at warrensinclair.com.
All right, without further ado, here is our interview with Mayor Ken Johnston. All right, well, guys, our last interview ever, and we may or may not have a good one. A lot better than that joke. Mayor Ken Johnston, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. This is going to be our last interview for the Oh Dear podcast, and we really appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Well, who could resist, really? And I will say right now, guys, that this is an honor I never thought I would get, but here I am. I mean, and on your swan song, I'm sad to see you go. And I speak for, I know you were kidding about this, your tens of followers, but I know they're in the hundreds and thousands and all those good things to the swan song today. So it's quite an honor to be here for sure.
Dan, we're honored that you're here. And just right off the hop, what is it? Your worship, Mayor Ken, your Majesty, your Highness? I don't know the lingo.
Hey, dog.
Well, I tried your holiness for a while. I will say that. And then somebody else has got that, and I kind of thought I couldn't use that. But anyway, on a more serious vein, it's kind of funny you bring that up because a lot of people wonder, how should they address the mayor? But my goodness, the mayor's the servant of the public, and so shouldn't be necessarily so formal. But Mayor Ken's good for me, or just mayor. I get the heebie-jeebies when people go your worship or something. I'm not sure if I'm led to sacrifice or I'm going to be sacrificed for something. But Mayor Ken's all good, or mayor, whatever feels good. I'm fine.
Just not dog.
Okay.
Just not dog.
Good thing you claimed your holiness already.
Yeah.
So first off, we're just over a year now since you were elected as mayor, and 8 years, 2 terms on council before that for you. But how has the first year been? Obviously, that transition, well, we're still in a pandemic, but the transition slowly out of it. How has that been so far?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm glad you mentioned the pandemic, because if the first year had been in a pandemic, it really would have affected what I wanted to do as mayor. So it's been a very, very busy year, and we've opened up City Hall to all kinds of people, groups, citizens. I've gone out into the community. I was telling one of my office staff the other day, I think I counted over 300 events in the calendar in the last 12 months. But that's always been the job of the mayor, is to have an open city hall and to have city hall go out into the community. So it's been a blur. I had 40 years in the bank before my 8 years on council, and nothing prepared me for the pace. It's the pace really that ignites you, if you will. And it's been a dizzying experience, a privilege, of course, very humbling, but a fantastic 12 months, I think.
So when you got the key to the city, what was the first door that you opened?
Well, it's amazing. That's a fantastic question, and when I find that key, I'll use it. I will. But it's kind of funny. My first interaction on the job was recording a greeting for CFR last year, and we shot it outside, and thankfully, it obviously was a little better than it is the last few days. We shot that outside, but I had been Santa Claus, which probably shouldn't surprise you, for the last 12 or 13 years for the Festival of Trees and the Santa Claus parade downtown and the lights the night. So I was fired on the first day of being mayor from being Santa Claus by the administration saying, we're not sure the mayor and Santa Claus should be the same. I hope this isn't going out to anybody under 18.
Wait a minute, what do you mean?
There is a Santa. I want this corrected. There is a Santa for everybody out there. It's all good. Just Santa has different helpers. So anyway, so great question, but it's a funny memory, getting laid off, if I might say. I'll be back behind the sleigh at some point, but it won't be for a while yet, that's for sure.
And we have Co-Worker Erin here for the interview, and Andrew. Andrew's never come to an interview before, and it showed because he started interviewing you before the mics were even on. But Andrew, you did have a really good question, I think, that you should ask again now that the time is appropriate.
So I'd asked Ken earlier if at 30 years old, he ever envisioned himself being the mayor of any city for that matter. And then I was thinking along the lines of, well, Lund's a banker. Maybe Lund will be the mayor.
Oh, no.
Oh, there, and I often say there's life, beyond the bank or after the bank, but that's a great question. Does anybody really get out of bed in the morning at any age and say, are they going to be in public life? Are they going to be the mayor? Are they going to be an MP? God knows what. But, I came to Alberta in 1980, so I was all of 26 in those days, came out with a chartered bank, and they were opening a lot of branches, and they reached into the Maritimes. That was my home province, Newfoundland, and came out in those days, came to Red Deer in 96, got involved in the community to a large extent, Chamber of Commerce, the Westerner, the United Way, Stars, a whole bunch of boards, all those good things. Started to see Red Deer, just the most fantastic city that I'd ever lived in. The road led to public service, not something I went after. And often I tell people that if you are aspiring to be in public life, let it come to you, especially a position like this. This is a position that's bestowed upon you. You don't have a resume or whatever. The community bestows this on you. And so let the position come to you. Let the leadership come to you. And then it's kind of genuine. So yeah, did I ever imagine I'd be mayor? I wish my mom was still alive. She often said, Ken, you'll never amount to anything. However,
do we have the same mom?
However, we may have the same mom, Ted. However, I will say, Mom, I landed on my feet in the greatest city in the world, and so here we are.
So, Mr. Mayor, I've had 20 minutes with you here tonight, and I've seen you at a few events,
Yes.
Different charity events and stuff, and you just have an infectious positivity to you. And my question, I guess, is 300 meetings or events a year. How do you keep that going day to day and throughout the year?
Well, there's the practical side, and that's, sort of taking care of yourself. So if you're in my neighborhood at 4:30 in the morning, you'll see the mayor up. The mayor's up and around. I get up at 4:30.
Hey, me too.
There you go. All good. But I'm tucked away by 8:30, and I try not to take too many evenings. All those things. So there's that practical side of it. I think what keeps me going, and I'll say for council also to extend it, but I really think what keeps me going is the joy of service. And I don't want to jump up on a soapbox or whatever the case may be. But once again, the community looks to their mayor and says, when they invite the mayor, when the mayor is present, it's really the population of the city that he represents. And so there is a certain honor then to the charity or to the event or whatever. And it's the excitement of meeting people. I love people. Everyone's got a story. We all build a city together. Every one of us, present company, very much included. What you've been doing and what you will do will build the city. And so I try to get that message across to people that, hey guys, we're in this together. And but I got to say by 8:30, the old battery is looking pretty dull and it's time for bedtime for sure. So great question.
So you've been in the role for over a year now. Is there anything that's really surprised you in his first year in office?
The 8 years on council certainly prepared me for some of the files we're working on and the issues we have. For example, the shelter and some of the housing issues we have, the economic development issues, things like that. I would say the biggest surprise would be the pace of the job. I didn't realize the job would be as high a pace. I'm very fortunate. I've got great office people behind me to look after, the routine things and the things that would take away from the community. As a community wants to see its mayor and so on. So the pace was a bit of a surprise. I had to adjust. Took me a couple of months to adjust to the fact that you have no more privacy. You go to the supermarket and it might take you an hour and a half to get home, which is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that.
Have you ever gone out in a disguise just so you can get some peace and quiet?
I've been tempted, but I think it's the balding head and the beard that give me away every time, and that kind of thing. I will say, I like to have some fun with people, and often people will look at you and you kind of think they know you, and then you kind of just talk to them and say, "Do you know the mayor of Red Deer?" And they'll say, I've never met the guy.
I heard he's a real piece of garbage.
I hear he's a real piece of work. Exactly. And then I'll just introduce myself or whatever. People are fantastic, by and large. And even those that are more difficult, often they want to be heard and recognized and listened to, and unfortunately the last few years, we've pitted ourselves in different camps and it's a bit of a shame and so on. Red Deer is greater than that. I think our council reflects that, and the differences of opinion we have, and we still get the job done. And so, I would say the pace and the privacy.
And speaking of council, this is actually a very timely interview. We didn't plan this, but yesterday council just put out the 2023 to 26 strategic plan. And I know there's 3 key points to that. And since I don't have my notes in front of me, I'll let you talk about those 3 key points. Yeah.
The strategic plan is really the roadmap for council. When a council is elected, it usually puts a strategic plan together for the remainder of the term, typically 3 more years, plus the first year of the next term to enable the next council to do its work. So we picked 3 themes that were validated by the public. Over 99% of the people we spoke to were in agreement that thriving city was our first theme, community health and well-being was our second theme, and then an engaged community was our third theme. And they're really intertwined, of course, in many ways. We're certainly devoted to economic development, tourism, a thriving downtown, inclusion, Indigenous relations, tourism, those kinds of things. An open city hall, transparency, etc. I say for people that are looking for the strat plan, it's online. You can certainly look at it. And council put, and I'm really getting political like here. I get that. So I need your tolerance here. So council put a bunch of outcomes together as measuring, sort of measuring sticks, if you will, to see what we were doing. And it's our way really of allowing the public, allowing our great city to be able to say, hey, you are moving the dial on that, or no, you're not doing anything on that. And it's our way of being accountable. So I appreciate you bringing up the strat plan. It's a great plan, and it's going to keep us busy over the next 3 years, and then the new council in the first year of their term.
And I know we've got some very Red Deer specific questions, but one more thing on council, just because in my time doing news in Okotoks and High River, I covered what felt like 1 million council meetings. And I'm just curious, you don't have to say what it was about, but I've seen council go back and forth about, honestly, some pretty not important shit. What is the longest that you, whether you're, honestly, they do it. And I'm sure I am.
Never in Red Deer. Okotoks, I can believe. I can believe Okotoks, but not Red Deer.
But what has is the longest, whether as a councillor or as mayor, what's the longest that council has debated like any one subject in one meeting?
Wow. Let's think about that. I would go, in that we're in a later vein here, and I appreciate you going there. I would go pollinators, bees. You know, we had, you
owe me $20.
Probably,
I told you.
What is the buzz about that? But anyway, all good.
Oh, stop it. Stop it, Mayor Ken.
It's all good. I actually saved that and came in with that today. I have to think about these things.
Your speechwriters probably wrote that one.
So anyway, no, he lost his job today, unfortunately. Nice kid. But anyway, so yeah, I remember, when you talk about one subject, if you were talking about one issue, it certainly would be the shelter. We've really wrestled with that the last few years, actually, kind of thing. But one issue was about pollinator habitat, and I know it sounds light, but at the time, several councillors were prepared to die on their swords, to throw themselves out of a building or whatever the case may be to get the thing done. And so that was, I think we started at 1 p.m, and it was just about 9:45 when we finally when we finally put that sucker to bed.
Oh, that stings.
I love that.
Did I just get a new job as a speechwriter? Yeah.
I love that.
So were you on the right side of the whole?
I was, and I marveled at some of the debate as it was going round and round, and there was quite a to and fro is all I'll say. It was back probably, I would say circa 2014 or so, when I was new on council, and marveling that this could take this amount of time. So.
And you still stayed on for 8+ years after that. I would have been done. Yeah.
I did. Yes. Yeah. I hung in there. So it was all good.
So we talk about the strat plan and some of the measurable sticks. Downtown Red Deer.
Yeah.
Revitalize downtown, re-energize downtown.
Yeah.
I think I've kind of heard it all over the last 15, 20 years. And there's been some great things. The Ross Street patio, some of the small businesses and restaurants we got downtown. But kind of what's the next step to kind of, re-energize or revitalize it?
Well, that's a great question. And I think as difficult as this might sound, I've been downtown since 1996, and I've never really felt unsafe downtown. But there's a perception in the community that downtown is unsafe, and it's a tough place to come, and all those kinds of things. So we need to solve the shelter issue first. That's getting closer. If yesterday at council, you might have seen that the province has okayed the site for us. We still have to get into negotiations now. So we need to solve how we're providing vulnerable supports and so forth, and do that in the best way that we can. And my hat's off to the agencies that work in that space and the work that they do. You don't work in addictions or shelter for the retirement plan. I can tell you that is a tough road of service, and my hat is off to everybody that's in that area. So we'll get the shelter solved, and then we need to get Capstone off the ground and get that moving. There's some good interest in it now post-COVID. That's starting to take off again. There's a couple of what I would call catalysts. One is the hospital. If we can get that hospital put to bed, the Justice Center will help as well in terms of bringing people into the core and so on. There's a lot of moving parts. I think we need a more of a cultural space downtown. Council's looking at that in this budget and going forward. And really, I think when you put all of those things together, then downtown revitalization becomes more tangible. But the core message, and I tell this to people frequently, if you think downtown is unsafe, or if you think it's dying, or if it's inert or whatever, when was the last time you came down and did some shopping on a Saturday? And God bless our malls and our other parts of town and the Costco's of the world. And this is not a message about that. But in the same vein, when was the last time you chose downtown to come down on a Saturday, come down on a Friday night, drop into a restaurant, go into a retailer, those kinds of things? We have the future of downtown. We're all capable of revitalizing downtown. downtown. It's as simple sometimes as making the decision to come down and visit the gift shop, have a little lunch, go over to Capstone and take a look at the river and really get into it there. And really downtown revitalization becomes something we can all do, not just wait for some, sort of magical or turn of the dial, if you will. Downtown revitalization belongs to all of us.
I love that. That was a great answer, by the way.
So, Ken, I just have I guess as a real estate agent, I'm seeing a lot of this. So we've got a lot of people moving into the province right now, and the bulk of the population coming in is going to Edmonton and Calgary, obviously, because there tends to be more jobs. And one thing I'm hearing consistently is that the younger population wants to be in the larger cities. One thing I've really felt, just with the ups and downs of the real estate market, is that the Red Deer job economy is very oil and gas focused, oil and gas servicing focused, to the tune of what I was told was at one point, 10% of our jobs were kind of oil and gas based. So I guess what I'm finding now is that a lot of the people coming into Red Deer are coming here as a price point buy because we're much more affordable than some of the larger cities. But one question I have is what is the city doing, or what is council doing to attract new businesses, new jobs, tech sector jobs, anything like that, to actually bring more population to Red Deer than simply just the people who are looking to, get more affordable real estate?
Great question, because post-COVID, I'll just talk a little bit about post-COVID, and some of the lifestyle impacts that are happening post-COVID. People started to really reconnect to the outdoors, really reconnect to the outside and so on. And suddenly Red Deer became an item on their map, a choice for lifestyle. However, when you look at it from an employment perspective, as you say, that's where we're challenged. So there's a couple of things. When I ran, for example, I ran on a diversified economy as it relates to carbon capture, as it relates to hydrogen, as it relates to renewables, that kind of thing. Yes, the tech sector will look at, say, the Calgarys and Edmontons, but I will say this, and this was also part of one of the reasons why I ran, there will be a high-speed rail in our province. There will be, not, will there be? There will be. That's a bit of a different turn of phrase. There will be a high-speed rail. So if we get a stop on the high-speed rail, that puts us 30 minutes from the Calgarys and the Edmontons. It'll be a transformational turn for us as it relates to development, particularly housing, real estate, lifestyle, and so on. If I'm in Calgary and I'm looking at a 3-bedroom home, 4-bedroom home in any neighborhood, really, and I'm putting out somewhere between $550,000 and $800,000, maybe $900,000, and I'm commuting already from Whitehorn, down into the southeast, Midnapore, it takes me half an hour anyway. So if you think of high-speed rail, so, being 30 minutes between Edmonton, Red Deer and Calgary. So we're pressing hard. Can your listeners hear this?
Yeah.
That means hard.
Hey, you can't. That's a fine for you.
Mayor Ken gets to do it. I get to do
Free
it.
for all. Yeah, that was for emphasis. Yeah.
That means hard on that issue. And I will say this is public. Andrew, to your question, we're completing an annexation on the northwest side of our city. It's a 150-acre annexation. It's going to be a $300 million development in that part of our city. We're driving towards getting it completed by the 1st of September this coming year. There's a formal process that annexation has to go through. So that's an amazing development on the northwest side of our city, just on the west side of Highway 2 by Lynn Valley. We're getting into public consultation now, that kind of thing. That will be an enormous development for Red Deer, and it doesn't depend on high-speed rail. The development company is ready to go. We just need to make the annexation and the public consultation happen, those kinds of things. And so you have these transformational, and again, I'll mention the hospital. I can't understate it, what a $1.8 billion construction project would be worth to Red Deer. And Red Deer Polytechnic is gearing up. They're turning out more nurses. They're turning out more apprentices. They're also a part of the picture. So when I talked about relationships early on or earlier in the interview, these are the kind of relationships that council needs to, and especially the mayor needs to be part of. The mayor needs to be at the table when these kinds of discussions are being held. And so stay tuned. If I'm talking to somebody in Ontario today and you're tired of being on the 401 or any other 400 series highway out there, and you're an hour and a half between work and that kind of thing, come out to a city that you can sell your home there, buy for cash out here, set yourself up on a retirement plan, and enjoy a lifestyle you wouldn't believe. And that's for sure. So that day is coming, Andrew. That day is coming, and we won't be taking a backseat to Calgary and Edmonton much longer.
That's perfect, Ken. All our Ontario listeners are just going to be thrilled.
And
Hey, we have one. Hi, Uncle Rob. Yeah.
you know, Uncle Rob, if you're looking at an ideal retirement, it's not where you're living. It's out here.
So did we hear it here first?
Yeah, did we just break the light speed rail?
Is that going to be the headline tomorrow? Oh dear, breaks the news that Alberta's getting high-speed rail.
You think I'm going to edit this by tomorrow?
Well, this is hardly a secret. I mean, high-speed rail's been discussed in the province for years and years, and it isn't a certainty. So when I say there will be...
I remember you banging on the table, Mayor Ken.
Folks, can you hear that there will be high-speed rail in Alberta? I mean, it's going to occur because it's the economic engine that the whole corridor will benefit from. And so the province, of course, is in talks with a couple of providers and so on. I think it got stalled a little bit with some of the leadership issues and so on and so forth. So I'm looking. Are you ready for this? I'm looking for that issue to get back on the rails. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is too good.
Yeah, we might have to start a new podcast. Yeah.
Puns with the mayor.
Yeah. I guess so. Kevin Walsh couldn't be here tonight, but he's very invested too in the Red Deer Hospital, which you mentioned. Yes. So obviously a hot button issue. What is, I guess, the process? Again, I don't have my phone in front of me. Maybe Dustin can make sure I ask the right question. But what's the process too for like pushing the province and making sure that those funds that are promised get delivered when they were promised by? Did I get it? Yep.
I think you got it. And we met last week with the infrastructure minister Newdorf, and he's the deputy premier for the province. And that really that was the question that we asked. In terms of what are the timelines? Is this project still moving forward? Where are we? Kind of thing. And I was very encouraged. Spoke to some of the local media around his answers. He was very upfront about it, and so on. There's a sort of a good news, bad news. Sort of the classic bad news is this project could take up to 10 years to get done. However, the good news part of that is as floors get built on the existing cancer center, if our folks are familiar with the cancer center, they'll know it's just on the west side of the hospital there, and there's an adjoining corridor, if you will, throughway, if you will. So the floors are going to get built onto the cancer center, and then a separate building for ambulatory care is also going to be built very proximate to the site. So that was news we didn't know before. And the best part of that is we won't have to wait, as I described, to cut a ribbon on a sort of a 10-year project. 10 years from now, we'll be able to use the floors as they're built. That'll take some pressure off the hospital. This has been a long time coming. Our frontline people are, just desperate. Our doctors, nurses, respirologists, all those good people, physiotherapists are working so hard every day in a hospital that was never built for the capacity issues that it has right now, serving 500,000 people. That hospital's way beyond capacity. And so in the interim, there's the hope of some surgical clinics that are going to come and some better ambulance dispatch and so on. And those are issues, of course, that we're constantly in front of the province about. We're grateful for the support we're getting. A $1.8 billion project's a major community developer, but it couldn't come soon enough. And so right now we understand that the technical planning phase will start in early 2023. And hopefully construction will start, one would hope, early 2025.
Good question, Erin.
Just needed a break before I got.
Well, Lund, I know you have a question too, and there's snow questions that are off limits. So go ahead.
So Mayor Ken, I did let a few people know we were interviewing today, and the number one question they were begging me to ask you was, what's the plan with the snow removal this year? Has it changed from years past? No. And I know this isn't something that maybe you directly deal with, but I'm sure you get asked this question a lot this time of year.
Yeah.
We've seen, I don't know if it's an unprecedented amount of snow in the first week of November, but is there something households can kind of look forward to with the snow removal.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll kind of let you take it from there.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I just want to thank everybody for their patience over the last, week. I mean, it's just been, we've been hammered day after day with snowfalls and 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters, 10 more, 5 more, all those kinds of things. And what preceded that, of course, was a bit of, that freakish freezing rain, kind of mix that suddenly now we have a layer about an inch or two deep on the pavement, if you will, and the snow falls in. Then we had a mini Chinook on Friday. It's more melting, then more snow on Saturday.
Alberta, baby.
And, yeah, you bet. And so the policy that we adopted back in 2016, 2015, I'll say, was all about triggers, and it was all about priority routes and all those kinds of things. Plus, obviously, the sanding and salting and all those things. That hasn't changed, but what has affected it over the last few days is it hasn't been a 24-hour period gone by when we didn't get another layer. Mm-hmm. So our crews will go back out and they'll take care of what's called purple routes. And a purple route are the arterial roads, the 30th Aves, the 40th Aves, the Taylor Drives, the downtown, the hospital access, those kinds of things. They'll take care of those first, then they'll clean out the downtown, and then they'll go into the neighborhoods. So starting Monday, the neighborhood plow program will start. And this is the earliest we've ever started it, in my memory. For sure. Typically, these plows start January-ish, a kind of thing when we get that snowpack that becomes really problematic. So we've sped it up quite a bit. My understanding from Public Works, I talked to the Public Works manager today, and my understanding is the ice that the snow covered and so on is forming a difficult barrier. And I'll just say that because I don't know the technical word.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
The technical barrier. Anyway, I don't want to make light of it. People are struggling out there, but it's been resistant to brine and gravel and that kind of thing. So that's been problematic for us. So we are bringing the big bad boys out on Monday now to get the neighborhoods dug out. I live in Morris Row. I'm fortunate to live on McLean Street because it's a bus route, but buses make big ruts.
Yeah.
They make big ruts. Yeah. And the last thing we need now is a warming spell or whatever to turn us into trolley tracks on every street and that kind of thing. So hopefully we don't get, the winter of 96 or the winter of 2013-14 when we got 100 centimeters of snow, so far we have about 38 or so, which has been over the last week. So,
it sucks for all us drivers out there, but as a kid growing up, I just used to love when the plows would come and plow it all in the middle of your clothes or your little spot. And then you would just have the best toboggan or you could play King of the Hill. So, for the kids, I hope it snows a lot more, but for myself, I hope this is it for the year.
Yeah, you and me both. I read in the paper this morning that a lot of garages are saying that only half of our citizens have their winter tires on, so you want to talk about a tough condition to be in. You have slippery streets and you're really not equipped for it at the same time. I've seen some people try to go up Ross Street and I know they don't have snow tires. They just stall at about 43rd or so, on the lights there and they have trouble, the rest of the way up. But, it's really something, that plow is going to start on Monday. I think our communications department's already released that on our website. And if they haven't, they'll be doing it soon.
So hopefully Ted can edit this podcast and we can get it out before Monday.
No, this is actually coming out in like 2 weeks. So you're welcome. Hey, everyone, it's plowed. It's taken care of.
and we have the nastiest little mini ski hills in every close in Red Deer.
Yeah, nice.
But I don't know if you know this too, but I feel like we've got more snow in the first week of November than we might have got all of last year.
I haven't checked that specifically, but it would not surprise me at all. Very unscientific measurement. I've got a garden statue just off my deck. Now, you want to talk about unscientific. This is it. So I got this garden statue and it's about 4 feet tall just off the deck. And so as I push snow out the deck, it eventually buries the garden statue. Normally, the garden statue doesn't get buried till I would say Valentine's Day, somewhere in there. So mid-February. That garden statue statue is about ready to send up an SOS now. and so very unscientific. But if the garden statue is telling us anything, we're certainly very close to what we got all of last winter. That's for sure.
I think we should get a 24-hour live cam on that garden statue, and that's how everyone in Red Deer can check how the snowfall.
So, Ken, you've mentioned, back to the hospital piece, you mentioned that you've had a lot of communication with the provincial government. I'm just curious to know that since there's been a change in the premier, has the communication with the provincial government changed at all? Are you dealing with different people now than you were before? Is the conversation any different than it was previously? Where are things at with that?
Well, it's a great question. Certainly the new government has been up and running for 3 weeks or so. 2-3 weeks since they got sworn in. So on the very first day, I'm trying to remember the actual date. Was it the 25th maybe of October? I think that was the swearing in. I recall it was a Friday anyway. So anyway, we called the new cabinet ministers on the hospital file the afternoon after their swearing in. So they got sworn in at about 11 o'clock. We got on the line at about 2 o'clock and started lining up the meetings with them. And as I said, we met with the infrastructure minister last Wednesday. So that was only about 4 or 5 days after, getting sworn in. And so I think that is an extremely positive sign that they responded very, very quickly to our request for a meeting and then started talking about building up on the cancer center, the new building that's proximate and so on. These were things that we had not heard, ever really since the premier came down in February, so 9 months or so ago, and announced the hospital. There were never any real details about it. We were kind of left wondering, what will it look like? Where will it be? Things like that. So if that's any indication, that early, attention that we got, I think it's a very, very good sign. Certainly the Minister Neudorf, Deputy Premier Neudorf, committed to coming down into the community in the new year, kind of doing a little bit of a town hall kind of a thing, because I think the community itself would really like to ask the province. At this point in time, we're a bit of the intermediary, if you will. We advocate for the community and for Central Alberta on this issue. But I'm really encouraged that that's one of the things that he said was a possibility for 2023. So I think it's a good sign, and it's something that we were encouraged about and it wasn't just him. It was Minister Nixon on the shelter. We met with him last Monday. We met with Minister Milliken, who's on the addiction side, and we met with Minister Schultz, who's the new Minister of Municipal Affairs, all inside the last week. So those are good signs.
So Mayor Ken, I think one thing too, I'm lucky enough every morning, right? I hear the news, read the news off of rdnewsnow.com. So I know a lot of what's going on, in the political landscape, admittedly more than I'd like. But I know, and I can't remember the name of it, but I know there's also like a coalition of like mid-sized city mayors that you just had a meeting with. Is some I didn't know existed, but it's pretty cool that you have that network too. And the mayors of, I don't know what the population is like for those cities, but maybe just talk a little bit about that. I just thought that was something cool.
It's called the Mid-Size Mayors Caucus. So it's a gathering of, I'm going to say 22, I could be wrong, 23, 24 cities across the province. Calgary and Edmonton are their own sort of group, if you will, and good luck to them all, I say. But anyway, so the mid-sized cities caucus would have cities like, for example, Cold Lake. It'd have obviously Lethbridge, Sylvan Lake, for example, Lacombe. Population over 10,000 is really the threshold for that. So collectively, the 22 cities represent just over 1 million people in the province. So as a united voice, and typically cities of that size, for example, ourselves, Grand Prairie, Fort McMurray, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, Airdrie, Cochrane, have similar issues, similar challenges. Andrew mentioned economic development, things like that, housing, affordability, taxes. And so they also have issues they want to deal with the province on. All Alberta municipalities have a body called, not get fancy, it's called Alberta Municipalities, AM. So that group represents all municipalities right across the province, cities, towns, the whole 10 yards. This group is that mid-sized group and has a lot more commonality with it. So yeah, we just did some meetings in Airdrie and had some press releases around funding formulas, all those things that are exciting for politicians. Maybe not as vital as snow and ice, but they're still very, very important. So it's a great group.
Does the group chat get pretty heated for that mid-sized mayor?
The group chat can get pretty heated from time to time, depending on who's getting what and who's doing what, and that kind of thing. And of course, we always like to poke fun at the big urban.
That's what I mean. Is there trash talk going on?
Well, a little bit.
Edmonton and Calgary.
But we respect them too. Of course, they're the big engines.
They're trying their best.
They're doing their best. They're coping. Yeah. Let's put it that way.
All right. Well, I know, and Oh Deer has never been known as like a hard-hitting news entity, so lots of great information. Though I know, Erin, you've been waiting in the wings for a less serious question.
I want to know, in your year as mayor, what the most fun or exciting thing you've been a part of has been. I know there's a lot of really, there's a lot of things that really impact people and a lot of issues that I'm sure weigh on you, but I want to hear about something fun and exciting.
Before tonight. This doesn't
because
count.
Of course, who could cap this? I mean, really, who could cap this? That's not an easy question to answer because there's so many events during the year and you encounter so many people. I would have to say, in terms of, if I was to pick the most fun in a group setting, rather than just sort of an encounter with someone, I would say it was the reading invitation I got from grade 5 class that was up at St. Thomas there. They've got a fantastic group of teachers up there and kids and that kind of thing. And it's kind of funny. And God bless the grade 5s. They're 11 years old or so, 12 years old. They think
14 for Dustin.
14 for Dustin. It's all good. Really. But they think the mayor is some kind of god. I mean, it's pretty cool from that perspective. And so it's really amazing. Yeah, exactly. So I would say in terms of just the pure joy of being around kids that are still in that formative phase. They ask such fantastic questions, they study local government but you always get the question as do you love cats or something, it's just and you come out of there exactly.
Actually, I would also like to know the answer to that.
Well, I had 3 cats. I'm down to 2. We lost one, but anyway,
way to go.
There's just a sense of wonder. You come out of there and you just see a different perspective on life, and so that's been really great. But yeah, it's really hard to pin it down to one, but if I had to, I'd probably land there. Yeah.
So Mayor Ken, as we start to wrap up here, I'm going to go back to grade 5 for a second.
Awesome.
Edmonton Oilers or Calgary Flames?
Well, another great question, and this is a hard-hitting show. I'm going to be sad when you guys shut this thing down, but
I won't.
It's kind of funny when the Oilers and Flames played in May or so, or for a promotion, I had a jersey half Oilers and half Flames, and every news outfit in the country picked up on this. Red Deer smack in the middle of Alberta. What could the population be thinking? And I don't know if we've ever done a survey as to where our city is hockey-wise, but I'd be willing to bet it's pretty close to 50-50 between the two, and so that's really what I was trying to portray. However, the question is, Mayor, what is it? And so, at risk of not being reelected, folks, and I'm in this for leadership and for nothing else. I've got to land on the Flames. That's where I am. I lived in Calgary for 7 years, and I saw the Flames in the glory year, I'll say. There were some years that they threatened to do something.
You didn't like the Young Guns years?
But no. The glory year was a great one, and but something I will say, I really think this is becoming a bit of a golden age for hockey in Alberta again. Isn't that fantastic? It wouldn't surprise me at all see these two teams go deep again into the playoffs. And hats off And God bless the Oilers. I love them. But hats off to the Flames for losing a couple of big names, in Kachuk and Goudreau this year, and yet being able to get out there and find some players, like Kadri, for example, to come and step in. So Flames are on a bit of a skid. They're losing a couple of games in
Both
overtime.
teams, yeah.
Oilers are struggling a bit.
Hopefully by the time this comes out, they're kind of back.
Yeah, so
on track.
January
Absolutely.
2nd.
Absolutely.
Check in.
Absolutely. So yeah.
All right, we'll cut right here, and then you can say all the good things about the Oilers
Yeah.
next.
No, the good
Okay.
news is, I don't think anyone who listens to this podcast votes probably. So, 'cause, I mean,
I vote.
you don't listen.
I don't listen to this podcast.
I would hope that they do vote. I mean, I'm ready to give her on civic duty right now, but it's okay.
Okay, I got one last question for real. I'm now graduated.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Justin. That's
From grade 5.
Yeah, from grade 5. No, but fast forward 3, 10, 15 years when you are retired from being mayor, what's one thing that you want people to look back on Mayor Ken Johnston when he was the mayor of Red Deer? Sort of what's your legacy piece that you hope people look back on?
Well, that's a fantastic question, and I really haven't thought of a legacy piece, but and I'll just say it this way: what I would like if I stay for 1 term or 2 terms or whatever, Father Time will, I think, determine that and that kind of thing. What I would like is to redefine or set the bar for what a mayor should be doing, and I've always looked at the role of the mayor, and I think I might have said this off the top of the podcast today, that the mayor is really the face of the city, the ambassador of the city's number one fan, the city's number one promoter. So I'd like to be looked at, as I say, I mean, I'm not looking for a building. I'm not looking for, some kind of public amenity or whatever the case may be. Those things happen and they'll happen in due time. What I'd like my legacy to be was he redefined what the mayor should look like in our city, and the next mayor has that bar and more to go, that it's a high bar. So if I could imagine anything in leaving, Dustin, great question, it would be a high bar, and the community needs, if it's 2025 or 2029, I'm not sure where we'll land, but I think the community will say, hey, we had a mayor from 2021 to say 2025, and we're not going to take anything less than what we had in 2025 or 2029. And that's the way public service should be. Set the bar and let your predecessor come in and move it some more. The time for leadership, half-baked, half-energized, half-committed leadership. It's no wonder the public sometimes gets disillusioned, with leaders and that kind of thing. So when I go out, we're going to be going out with guns blazing and the way we came in, the same way. So great question. And we'll see what 2025 looks like.
Dustin's finally asking questions at an 8th grade level, and the whole freaking podcast is ending. That's ironic, eh? But it's funny you talk about energy, and I think if you ask me personally, I think that's one of the biggest things you bring to your role as mayor. But if you could pat yourself on the back, or like maybe it's that, what do you think is your greatest strength, as a mayor that you bring to the role?
Well, there's certainly the practical side of it, the 40 years that I had in banking and all those kind of things. But, if I was to say what the greatest strength of any political person or public service person would be is, firstly, don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take yourself as being the second coming of whatever, a kind of thing. It's not that. And I think I said earlier, leadership is something that should come to you and then be affirmed by the community. It shouldn't be something where you wake up one morning and say, I'd be a hell of a mayor today. I really would. And I'm going to give it a shot.
I've said that so many times.
Just looking in the mirror. Oh, I could be mayor.
I'd really, it's just
that's
something
what's going on upstairs.
I'm not sure if I'll change my tires or run for mayor. I'm really not sure. That is not the reason why you should seek office. So greatest strength would be understanding that this is a role that the public gives to you, and it's loosely held. You don't sign a 10-year contract. You take the hopes and aspirations of the people upon you, and that keeps you in a should keep you in a very sober frame of mind, in a good space so that when you wake up in the morning, you don't have to wonder who you are. You are the servant of the people. So there's the practical side of being able to look at, issues and events and all those good things. But really, if you come in with that, and I'll say the servant's heart, if you come in with the servant's heart and the servant's mind, you're going to stay on your feet. And that's the bottom line. So.
Oh, well, I guess I'll just ask a personal question, since I guess I'm following your career now, first being a banker.
You have woken up a lot of mornings going, whoa, who am I? Where am I? What happened?
Yeah. So I've done the banking thing. I'm not gonna go after it. I'm gonna let it come to me, like you said. Can I right here, right now, get your recommendation, or can you tap me for Mayor of Red Deer 2056?
There's a statute on this to like 2050.
We're going to play back the tape in 34 years.
Well,
I know we just met, Mayor Ken, but I feel like we're very, very similar.
Well, we're certainly male. That part we know for sure, and of course there's the banking side of it, But to you or anyone else out there, I'll say this: if you are not completely infatuated with the city you live in, don't even think about running for public office. You have to love the city that you live in. You have to be able to say, I not only care about today's environment, if you will, and I don't mean that in the geographical sense, but if you care about the city that's 10 years out or 20 years out, and you're still as infatuated with the city from that perspective, if you see every Red Deerian as a city builder, an ambassador, a person who's building an environment for others to succeed, him or her, which is why I love teachers, because they invest in generations and generations and generations. I love teachers because their whole life is investing on that next generation. And public service is no different. You can't survive public service with the, shall we say, from time to time, critical feedback of the public, unless you're in love with the city that you serve. It's like any relationship, your wife, your partner, or whatever the case may be. There are lots of days when you wish there wasn't toothpaste in the sink, or there wasn't hair on the hairbrush, and all that kind of stuff. But because you love that person, you'll see beyond some of that, and you invest in that person. A city is no different. If you want to be mayor in 2056, you need to love the city starting today, not like the city. You need to love the city, and you'll be well prepared in 2056.
All right, that's great advice. Wow,
that's a great note to end on. Turning that stupid of a question into that great of an answer. I mean, that's really good. Yeah,
decent question, I thought.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah, we could debate that offline, but again, we could talk to you, Mayor Ken, for hours and hours. And I think even though the podcast itself is ending, I think we should do another sit down, even just for YouTube, social media, because there's obviously lots more we can ask you. But thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I can't imagine a better final guest for the podcast. And we've had some pretty terrible guests on this show through 30 plus, and they know who they are. So no, I'm just kidding with that. But and we forgot to do this with our last couple guests. We want to show you a token of appreciation for taking the time to be here. And what do you get the man who has everything? Well, you get him a limited edition.
I'm now being handed a brown envelope. It's a bulky
with cash.
It is a bulky brown envelope. I'm not sure I want to open it, but no, I'm not.
This is the bulky part, actually.
Okay,
now that you say that, you get a limited edition Oh Dear firefighter calendar photo, all for yourself. I can imagine this just hanging right when you walk in City Hall. That is all yours. No need to thank us.
I will say I'm becoming hot-blooded. Check it and see. That's all I have to say about that. This really, I'd like to say this will go in the office, but that would be a lie.
Yeah, unless you start calling your garbage the office. Yeah,
but it is stunning. I will say that is stunning. And certainly unexpected. Yeah. So
there's even a smaller, like a travel size.
Yeah, of course there is. Of course there is. Naturally, I could put it on the visor of the car. I could.
Oh my God!
Wow! I have to say
that's how. If this podcast wasn't going off the air, we'd probably get canceled for giving the mayor of Red Deer. I will say though, that was for charity. So
I always appreciate a gift that's valued under $50. I will say that.
Just wait until we sign it. It'll be worth
If it's
less.
over 50, I have to declare it publicly. But under 50, and this certainly ranks under 50. So I really do appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much.
Good, yeah. If it was out of 100, too, if you're ranking that picture and our bodies, it is way under 50.
It's rank. I will say it's rank. It's certainly rank.
Well, Your Worship, thank you very much for coming in. I'm so sorry you had to see this.
Call him that. Mayor Ken.
Yeah, you
Or Your
learn nothing.
Holiness.
It's all good. I mean,
We're pals now. At least I didn't call him dog. I'm so sorry Ted gave you that photo. This was news to us.
it's certainly revealing, I will say.
It reveals what we're willing to do for the community.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And
right.
should we call you next year when we do the calendar again? Or
No, I think that's not necessary, but I will give you my mailing address, and you can certainly send it.
We'll take that as a win.
Yeah. Well, now that I basically ruined your life by giving you this photo, again, thank you so much for coming. I think it was really great to sit down and chat with you, and hopefully all our listeners got a lot out of that too. So,
I hope so, yeah.
Again, it's always great to chat with you, and thank you again for coming. And good luck moving forward, and I hope we can catch up with you soon.
Awesome, guys. And, wherever the trail will lead you, I hope it's a great one. And, continue to do what you're doing. Communicating. It's not something that people get tired of. In fact, they crave it, kind of thing. So it's been a slice being here today. It's an honor and privilege to be in the role that I'm in. And I'm grateful, and I'm looking forward to three more years. And, let's all build this city.
Thanks, Mayor Ken.
Keep doing what we're doing, except for these photos. All right, there we go. A huge thank you to Mayor Ken Johnston for taking the time to join us. And, we've had the opportunity to chat with a lot of great people from our community. But did you ever think back, November 2020, when we're sitting in Dustin's basement doing a practice podcast, or even on Lund's deck, that the mayor of Red Deer would agree to come on our podcast?
Not only agree, but unless he was faking it, seemed pretty excited to be here, which was really cool. And what a cool experience to actually get to know him and sit down and just be candid with him. That was really cool.
We were his first podcast.
You never forget your first.
Yeah.
Like I said at the start, I was very sad to have missed that interview. I knew Ken a little bit when he was still a banker before he kind of retired and then unretired for mayor. He's a great gentleman, very positive guy, just looking to always do good and always sees the good in people is kind of how I took him. And I didn't know him great back then, but I had talked to him enough to get that sense. And I know, when he ran for mayor, I voted for him because I knew that he would be a good influence on the city and council. So I think it's crazy that we were able to get the mayor, and it sounds like you guys had a great time.
Yeah, I thought he was is an extremely likable guy. I know I asked kind of a few joking questions and he took them in stride, but then gave really thoughtful answers to questions that weren't thoughtful questions. And it's not easy to do when someone's trying to make a joke and you turn around and give a really insightful answer. So he's a very, very good speaker, great personality, and has a ton of energy. So I too voted for Ken Mayor. I just want him to know that because I'm a fan.
Are you changing your vote though, since he is a Flames fan?
That's the only knock against him. I mean, nobody's perfect though, right? So if that's the worst thing about Mayor Ken, I guess we'll take it.
So at the time of this recording, I haven't had a chance to listen to the interview yet. Did you ask him where his favorite place to eat in Red Deer is?
Shoot, I
No,
didn't.
you should ask him where his favorite place in Newfoundland to eat is. That's where he's from, yeah.
I should have asked him where his favorite place in Pittsburgh was.
Yeah, I was going to say, looking back, Pennsylvania, I think it was, wasn't it?
There might be a few people listening to this podcast for the first time just to listen to the interview with Mayor Ken, and just a little bit of background information. Lund asked some dumb questions.
Just a little bit more background information. I knew they were dumb questions because that was kind of the joke of it, Ted. And I don't know if you've ever been on a podcast before, but podcasts are supposed to be fun. Thank you.
No more vodka drinks for you. You got so sassy.
I like it.
I liked it too.
He's not a hidden treasure anymore.
I didn't say you asked questions you didn't know were dumb. I just said you asked dumb questions.
No, we're going to get Mayor Ken back on here and we'll hear it from him.
No, I
directly.
meant just in the history of this podcast.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd never ask dumb questions.
Anyways, back to Mayor Ken. I think it's just cool for people who, maybe haven't had the chance to actually chat with him, just to get to see that side of a public figure, right? And just his love for the city too. And like we've said, his his positivity. And that's really, he just wants, Red Deer to everyone to be happy and have fun and love where they live. So I think that's coming out of that interview, right? Like you can still kind of feel that positivity too. Just sticks with you.
It's infectious.
And Lund 2056.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm just going to start my... now that the podcast is ending, I'll start building my image. So what do I have? I have 34 years.
Yeah.
I have my, basically...
You're halfway.
I'm halfway there.
Yeah, and I know just because I know I have to make this public, someone here has a big crush on the mayor after that interview.
I don't think we need to blow up Lund's spot like that.
Oh. Are you okay if we talk about that one? I know you told us that in confidence.
You can talk about it as long as you replace my name with Erin.
No, he was absolutely great. He's a big cat guy, which I love. And no, it was wonderful to get to meet him and to spend some time with him on and off camera, I guess. And yeah, I'm excited to see what he does for Red Deer in the coming years.
You were going to say set, weren't you? Because we're big stars.
It's not
on set, offset. I know how Hollywood talks.
All right. Well, that's a perfect transition into Shootin the Breeze.
Bang, bang. Bang, bang.
You shot the breeze before the breeze.
I always
You had
shoot
two in the
twice.
barrel?
I always shoot twice.
You had 2 in the barrel.
Yeah, barrel's always loaded.
Yeah.
Shootin the Breeze is brought to you by Hungyuk Ukrainian Kitchen. Family owned and operated, Hungyuk serves fresh, locally sourced, authentic Ukrainian and Hungarian fine foods for dine-in or takeout, including the pierogi poutine, a unique dish combining a Ukrainian favorite with a Canadian classic. Visit them now on Thorburn Ave or head to hungyuk.com for more information.
Bang, bang.
Oh, that you could wait till we're done the segment, but I'll save that one because it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, why don't I just do sound we should have my sound effects recorded, and that way I don't have to do them every single fucking time.
It's pretty funny to watch you over there because you actually do the gun actions in your microphone.
It gets us going. Knowing when we're sitting here, knowing I'm just gonna insert a clip, it's not the same.
Your deer call got worse.
Yeah.
But this is you practice.
Yeah. I feel like I'm actually about to shoot a breeze.
I mean, I've been working on my finger guns, so.
Bang! Bang!
Lundy, your sound effects have been so good. Can we get back, since this is our last formal episode, to can we hear a deer call from Lundy today?
We will, yeah. I think, sorry, I am going to prompt him for one, but it is completely up to him when we do a deer. You got time to think about it. Because I know you're not. Yeah,
I wasn't prepared for
You're
this.
not like our iPod where we just, okay, Lund, do this, do that.
Yeah. I'm a human being.
Okay, so we'll get back to that. You think about that, Lund. And I feel the 2 main things I wrote down to talk about for Shootin the Breeze were both also things that we were all there for, except for Walsh. Missed so much the last couple weeks. But first one, I think anyone who does listen, we actually had some listeners through Oh Dear join this too and take part, was the wine survivor. Dustin was a huge success this year, bigger than ever before.
What a cool night. We raised, what was it, just under $10,000 for charity this year, which it's blowing anything we've done out of the water. It was great. We got to support the food bank, which was kind of a last minute addition to our charities that we're supporting this year. But after touring around the facility, we realized we knew how much need there was in the community. But after meeting Mitch and learning about their operations there and how much they see and how much it has increased post-COVID, what was it, 65% or something they're up for need in the community.
Down 100,000 in funding and up 100,000 in costs or something like that. Yeah. And
going into the holiday season, that was you're a huge catalyst behind that donation, Ted, and learning that, we're able to provide, I think it was 33 turkey dinners for the community this Christmas season. They do over 900, I believe, and there's a few realtors in town that donate to a big part of that as well. So, we got to donate to 7 different causes this year. A shit ton of wine was given out.
Yeah.
Lundy, you won a pretty cool prize. Maybe just chat on that.
That you drew your own name
Yeah.
for. Yeah.
First off, I just want to say everything was completely on the up and up.
Yeah, it was. It absolutely was.
I was asked to, that night, Sawback Brewery was a great sponsor, and they had the way it worked is every time you ordered a Sawback beer, you got a ticket.
Oh, so you had 30 in
I
the
had
draw,
quite a
yeah.
few, so I had a lot of tickets in the barrel.
And a lot of beer in his other barrel.
and then at the end of the night, we drew it. And I was asked to grab the wheel or the barrel full of tickets. And since I was standing right there, they also asked me to draw the tickets. So I drew one out. And as everyone was checking their ticket, no one was claiming it. And I thought, oh, I wonder if I won. And I don't know, I probably had 7 tickets. And the first ticket I grabbed out of my pocket was a matching ticket. And I went, my first reaction was, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, no, I want this. Like, I deserve this beer. I'm drinking a lot of Sawback beer over my life. I deserve it. And I picked up my prize today. So I got beer for a year from Sawback Brewery starting December 1st.
Wow.
So beer's on me next time we go to Sawback Brewery, fellas.
Love that.
December
ladies.
1st.
Love that.
And I will say, Lund, and I said this right away when people were booing you for winning, and you took your shirt off, like you said you would if you won. So that was the one thing.
Yeah, I told myself I was going to take my shirt off, but I didn't expect to win.
Yeah.
So I was pretty...
We were egging him all night on the microphone too, like I will say. But I think you deserve it, Lund, because the other fundraiser we do through the Chubs, the hockey loser pool, is almost like it's 99% you. You run that and also raise, I don't know, Dustin, how much does that raise too?
That's raised anywhere from $5,000 to like 7,500, I think.
Yeah.
So we're going to be close to 20 grand this year through our little degenerate group of boys that goes away.
I don't think you can call us degenerates anymore.
Maybe not,
I
actually.
feel like we're all like respectable, contributing members to society.
And we've never actually got
Eh?
kicked out of a hotel or a golf course. So
Yeah.
You're philanthropists at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's start
Yeah.
calling ourselves Let's just start calling ourselves cool guys.
We'll make a name tag for you that says I'm a philanthropist. If it says, Lund, what are you? You could just point. You don't even have to say the word.
I'm Phil. I'm just shorten it.
What's your last name?
Trappist.
Okay, yeah, you have a middle name too. But no, it was a great night. I know Dustin, we're going to definitely rejig how we did that because, man, I had to announce like hundreds of names. Dustin was up there just crossing names off the computer. We didn't really get to enjoy ourselves that night, but that's okay because I think we had a lot of fun. And considering it was, the third heavy snowfall in the span of less than a week too, that still a lot of people made it out. And yeah, again, we raised so much money that we were able to add groups to our list of organizations that we're donating to, I think is the big takeaway there. So thank you. Anyone who's listening who did take part in that, I think, yeah, just blew us away.
How much wine did the winning team walk away with?
So, we met with Brennan, who they were the wine supplier of the event, and we were trying to figure out, because we had so much interest in the event and how much, like that much charity money, that we were going to figure out how many teams we were going to pay out. And we ended up paying out 11 teams worth, which I think we had we had 80 teams. So we paid out what is that? 20%?
A lot. It was a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the winning team took home 192 bottles, so 32 bottles each. And then the last place team took home 2 bottles each. We did over 30 wine giveaways that night, gave away over $900 worth of gift cards that night. It was an awesome night. The weather didn't pan out for us, but that's okay. We had over 100 people at Tiffany's, which was a great host. Their servers did an amazing job that night.
Yeah.
And, look forward to making this thing bigger next year. Why wouldn't we?
And shout out to Lundy's cousin too for taking him and I for steak and lobster dinner before too, that he won at the Chubs. That was a nice way to start the night.
Everything just comes full circle, doesn't it? The answer is yes, it does.
Okay. And so
Says the guy who draws his own name.
Man, I had a night. I started off with steak and lobster.
Yeah.
Then I had about 7 or 8 Sawback beers. And then I won beer for a year. And I had a great sleep.
And another guy who had a night is Josh Keith. Won the 50-50.
Oh, yeah.
He finished, his one team that he entered finished 5th place. His wife's team finished 4th place.
Wow.
And I feel like he won something else. Or he got to be a part of the night with his jacket in deciding who.
He got some free drinks because someone else didn't wear their gold jacket.
Yeah, Darren. Idiot.
Yeah, we won't point him out by name though, Darren Lund. But Lund, like your whole family was there. That like a lot of your family was there that night, and it was awesome. So thank you, Lunds, and everyone else.
Yeah, we're just doing our part to support the community.
Yeah, it's a Shootin the Breeze, but to go back a bit, Lund, you mentioned this, I think on 2 or 3 episodes ago. This is something to be so proud of for our group. Like 10 grand in a night is pretty spectacular to be able to just give back to the community groups that need it more than ever.
Yeah,
and that's really cool to have your whole family there that night in a snowstorm.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I really appreciate their support, and it's awesome. I can rely on them when we hold events like this or when we have fundraisers. They've never said no, and honestly, I don't think they're going to say no because they've won stuff in the past too. So, but I think from now on, we can't call ourselves degenerates, and if we do, there should be a penalty.
Yeah, there's only 4 days a year we can really call ourselves degenerates. That's during the tournament. I think it's very applicable. Yeah. We're not doing anything good during that. So maybe like stimulating the economy wherever we are.
We're spending money. Yeah. We're spending a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we're called stimulants during those 4 days.
Phil Stimulant is our name.
We're on uppers.
That's all just sounds like a cock drug. I'm not going to lie. Try the latest upper. Phil Stimulants. Patent pending.
Stimulating the philanthropists.
I'd buy that t-shirt.
Yeah. All right, we got to write this down. Oh boy. Yeah, we
should record this.
Like we don't have to try to get canceled, by the way.
Let's get Lenny a t-shirt that says, "No, I'm a stimulating philanthropist."
I mean, I'll wear it. I don't have anything to wear for last episode. So
I know you'll.
There you go. All right, so the other thing I want to shoot the breeze about, and this is a complete 180, and again, Walsh, we're so sorry you can't talk about this, but huge shout out again to Bo's Bar and Stage, because not only are they just absolutely bringing in like act after act, there's so many concerts, in the last little bit, because obviously that break during COVID hurt everybody, but that Spice Girls show, Dustin, I hyped it up to you a lot, and I hope it lived up to the hype, because that honestly had to have been one of the most fun nights I've ever had.
I think we need to be clear that it was not the Spice Girls.
Spice Girls tribute show.
Yes, Wannabe, who I've never seen the Spice Girls live in concert, but these girls might be better.
I think, I would agree with that, Erin. That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Dustin, what were your thoughts in your first ever Spice Girls tribute Wannabe show?
Well, I have 2 thoughts.
That's a new record.
My A thought. I woke up, my hips were absolutely burning.
Nice.
And my second thought was, one of the funniest things that happened to me throughout the night is, like, I was just singing the night away. Like, I think I knew every song that came on and I was singing it. And all of a sudden they were playing an ABBA song and I was singing it. And I turned around and to our big group of friends that was there, to 2 girls I had never met before. And I go, man, I didn't know the Spice Girls sung this song. And they're like, it's ABBA. I was like, man, I'm just having a good night.
No. I love your 2 thoughts were A and 2.
Really?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
At least you didn't go A and 1.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
You at least kept
At least
it.
I knew, Lund.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know they weren't Spice Girls songs either, because I just was having so much fun. Like, I was singing along too and just assumed Spice Girls sang everything.
Well, and Ted, you pumped it up, and you both had, I think all 3 had been to the show before, and I was really excited. I was sad I missed the first one, but I said to myself too before I got there, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm a dancer. Like, I like dancing. I was like, I'm not going to dance too much tonight. Like, we'll sit down, we'll have a nice, have some drinks. We get there, every table's full. We're right on the stage. As soon as they walked out, I was just like, yeah, let's go. Like, oh man, I just can't control myself.
It was incredible. We had friends from Calgary come up. Like, we made a weekend out of it, and Wannabe did not disappoint. Bo's was incredible. It was the most fun night of the year by a mile.
Yeah, it's just, and I'm not much of a dancer at all. I hate dancing. I'm very aware of how terrible I am at it. But just when everyone else too, like with Dustin, the athlete was out there, Lund, Erin, your friends from Calgary, everyone we were with, it's so hard not to just go, right? Like, it was awesome. I was a very sweaty man though that night. Like, I left there very wet. And thankfully it wasn't too cold out. Like, not just damp, but wet. And and good on Bo's too. Like, I don't know, I'd challenge any concert, anything there to have that same kind of energy. I'm sure there is, but I don't know. I don't think you can beat that.
I've never been to another concert at Bo's that had light up scrunchies for sale. So That alone.
What a good deal, too. Best $5 I spent that
I
night.
still have mine in my car. I turn it on when I'm sad.
Kevin, all the sex jokes we've made that I have to edit out and beat that is what made you giggle.
Well, Ted, you were talking about how wet you were, and then you said beat that. I mean, it's tough to keep our composure up here.
It is, yeah. I will say, keep our composure.
Keep our composure.
But you want to know
This is our last official episode, guys. Let's keep our composure.
how good was the night? Well, if
Ted was so wet. That's how good it was.
that's not where I was going, but I think that works better. But no, if you flash forward to like 1:40, Lund's working coat check at Bellini's because no one was there. So we went to get our coat. We went to Bellini's after, which was a great decision. But he grabbed our coats and just started taking other people's tickets.
Well, there was no one
was there.
There was no one there, and we wanted a place to hang. The hangers were there, so I hung up our coats, and then other people just started handing me their coats. So I worked coat check for like 10 minutes, and I didn't take any money, although I could have. But I thought I did a pretty good job. Everyone's coat got hung. I don't know if they got them back, but
Do you have the tickets in your pockets?
well, I wasn't giving up. I was just saying like, hey, yours is here. But no, that's the first time I've been to Bellini's in like 5 years. So that night.
That's one question I wish I would ask Mayor Ken if we could go back in time was, that's going to be an end of an era on that corner if it does come down. So I'm glad you guys got to experience, and hopefully, maybe the old Deer crew will make it there one last time before it goes out.
We should find out
tonight
what they're closing, like when they're officially closing, and just.
I had heard January, but it's so like all over the place. I don't know, but just go if you haven't gone and you want to go one last time to Long Riders, but and Bellini's, like go soon. Because, I think January is absolutely it. Could be sooner, too. I don't know. But the only reason I wanted to talk about Spice Girls was to talk about Lund working coat check, because that was just a great core memory I'm going to have forever.
And if you're unemployed, Bellini's is actually looking for a full-time coat checker. So
For 1 month?
For probably like a month and a half. So
Get some Christmas money.
That's right. Yeah.
But my bottom line for this was, first of all, good on Bose again, like bringing in shows like that. It's so awesome. If the Spice Girls, if Wannabe comes back again, which I really hope they do, you have to go, because we did have some friends, and specifically male friends, who you guys are going to a Spice Girls show, like I'm sorry, but I don't care who you are, you're not too cool to go to a Spice Girls tribute show with your mid-30s friends, because it was all about the nostalgia, and we just danced and had a great time. And like I said, it was up there with one of the most fun nights I've had in a long, long time. My core memory, though, of the Spice Girls night is the Sporty Spice was doing like the worm on the stage, and Lund just turns to be dead ass serious, points behind him to the stage and goes, "That's why they're the best."
I didn't see any worm.
Oh, she did the work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And if you're a single guy, that's the place to go. I mean,
yes.
The ratio to
Let me help you out here. The
Yeah,
ratio of male to female is
is
It was actually about 50-50. There were a
This
lot
time,
of dudes in there.
guys
Yeah.
caught on. They must listen to the podcast.
So
We
I didn't.
It wasn't
I thought-
50-50.
It wasn't 50-50. I'd say it was like 3-1 or 4-1.
But the first time we went, it was probably honestly like 7 or 8 to 1.
Yeah.
Like there was not many guys
The
there.
secret's out, or it's getting out.
And maybe being on a Friday this time helped too. But
I was sad to miss that, because I've been thinking about it, and I believe that first Spice Girls CD is that's like the first memory I have of like listening to a full CD. And back then I knew all the words, and Morsey, like I'm sure, I still listen to Spice Girls. Like it's in my Apple Music. I listen, the song comes on all the time. I think I'd be singing every word too. And I think that there's probably a lot of guys around our age, especially, that, that's like a childhood. That's when CDs were getting really big, and all these like cool, crazy boy bands. And it's like, it was like kind of this new era of music for us. And I have vivid memories of dancing in my room by myself when I was however old when that CD came out.
well, like, do you remember the Wannabe video too? I remember watching the hit list on YTV with Tarzan Dan, and right? Does anyone else remember the hit? That's where my love of music came from. Honestly, was the hit list. And I remember seeing these girls going through and being like, that like might be the first time where like I noticed women, right? Like, and I don't even think I was that old, but I was like, wow.
What do you mean?
Oh,
What do you mean?
They made him wet.
yeah.
Hey, you
still do.
You say that's your love of music from Tarzan Dan. My love of party planning and games came from on YTV.
that was such a
that
good
makes
show.
perfect sense.
What was that?
It was like a
Remember
kid game show,
Wanky
right?
Yahoo?
Was that his name?
I don't know the actor's name, but yeah, he was in like a cat commercial later on, a cat food commercial.
Explain the premise of the show again.
I don't even
It was like
remember.
a game
honestly.
show, and they would
Yeah.
get slimed and
like,
stuff.
yeah,
They were
so
wrong,
if they
yeah.
tried like a trick or a skill or whatever and they failed, then
Yeah, they
they'd
had to
get,
go
like,
into the like
slime chamber or
machine
whatever.
Oh, speaking of tricks and skills, you never did your baking video,
We're way past that.
and you owe us lunch.
Oh, I've at least bought one lunch.
Yeah, but you owe us 2.
Okay, that's fine.
And I don't know if has Erin bought us lunch
I
yet?
have not.
Don't open that kind of.
You know what?
There
though?
are so
that
many
actually,
things.
I was
that
going to
were
do that
all-
in Shootin the Breeze, but I think we can touch on that in our final wrap up episode.
I owe
'cause
shit.
I owe a bunch of stuff too. Like we all owe a little, like some stuff. Maybe not you.
I don't know shit.
I probably owe a little bit, but I think
I owe
Kevin
like
owes
a few
the big
things.
Yeah,
stuff.
I couldn't
Yeah.
do my handstand fully.
Oh yeah,
so.
you owe something for sure.
yeah,
That's why I owe my second one.
yeah. Let's wrap up Shootin the Breeze.
Bang bang.
Just let it go, Dustin.
Man, you were breathing as hard as you do at hockey.
The wind up on that was incredible. You're gonna find a job outside of this podcast.
Get that on camera.
I'd really like to get into sound effects once this is all done.
You could be a bagpiper with how big that chest got with what
Yeah.
you're gonna do with that.
Like in an age
I
where
could
everything's
not be a
digital,
bag-
you are the
a
hero that
bagpiper.
sound effects needs.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. That means so
So
much.
here, I got it. So we're gonna fire back up RDTV. We've talked about that. I think it'll happen.
Well, we're not announcing that yet.
Oh, right.
That's
But
why we're no.
You
we're
could
not.
be not the weather guy
No.
or girl, but you would be like off camera, and when they're talking about like a crazy storm, you're like doing the sound effects.
with the thunder. I'll have the big metal piece.
yeah, that sounded exactly like thunder.
All right.
So every time I think it's stormy outside, that's just you upstairs making
no, man, it's sunny.
Can you give us a? Can you give us a lightning?
That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never ever practiced this before, so
we
off
wouldn't
the
know.
cuff.
Yeah, we're still shooting the breeze, so we need to end Shooting the Breeze again.
no, the breeze is blown past.
We do. I have a little quick segment here, and not because we just have sponsors to use up, but we haven't done this in a while. But of course, hopefully you listen to this in a somewhat timely manner, because there is the holiday season too, and a lot going on around Red Deer in Central Alberta. So let's take a look at what's happening.
What's Happening is brought to you by Saks Thrift Ave, home of Red Deer's only Rage Room. Book online now at saxthriftaverd.com and get your rage out. While you're there, browse the best collection of vinyl in Central Alberta or find that perfect piece of vintage clothing. Saks Thrift Ave, records and rage, vinyl and vintage.
And yeah, we'll go through these quick because there's a lot of things going on. But first off, I do want to talk about a cause that's been pretty close to my heart for a number of years, basically since I moved to Red Deer, and even more so now that the radio station I work for is one of the ones that puts it on. But Tubs and Toys, that fundraiser is back again. Dustin and Lund, you might remember as the Rustlers, the one year we supported them as well. Rustlers still a big supporter of that one as well. Basically, this is also a team up with the Ensuite Kitchen and Bath Showroom on 61st in the Riverside Industrial area. But until December 15th, so if you're listening to this before December 15th, you drop off a new unwrapped toy there, or at our radio station on Bremner Ave, we have a tub there as well. It's all going to the Red Deer Christmas Bureau to ensure that no kid in Central Alberta has to go without a toy this Christmas. So a great one to do like at work, pass it around, encourage everyone, do your own little toy drive, and then drop it off. And if you wait to the 15th, but Dusty, you probably remember fondly when we did the drop off with the Rustlers too, like they have a great spread out that day, lots of people hanging out there. I'll be there for part of the day too. So even if you want to wait to the 15th, you can drop it off. But great one to do, kids, teams, whatever it is. Just a fundraiser that I think is really important this time of year.
It's pretty cool when you walk into their showroom actually to see how many, almost every one of their display tubs, I don't know, I can't remember if they have them in the toilets or not, but all the bathtubs that they have full of toys that are going to the Christmas Bureau. I actually got a tour of the Christmas Bureau last year and actually how it works. It's really cool if you don't know how it works. Like when people apply to the Christmas Bureau for help, I guess over the holiday season to make sure their children get help, they have it set up so they actually can go and shop something that their kid will enjoy. Like they get points compared to, what support they're able to get, and walk in and they can get different things for the points that they're allocated. And it's actually pretty neat that you can actually go in and get something that your kid is going to enjoy versus just getting a toy. And to make a difference like that, we've talked about it a lot, but post-COVID and, the struggles that people are going through with interest rates and mortgage rates and how the economy is right now, like I couldn't imagine if I wasn't able to provide my kid some Christmas presents, let alone maybe some meals or family dinner. So obviously if you're able to and support with anything, going back to the food bank and the Christmas Bureau, both certainly would help make a lot of it makes a difference in a lot of families for every single year.
Yeah, so and that's just one too, right around the holiday season that you can support. There's tubs and toys. You can just donate directly to the Red Deer Christmas Bureau. Of course, Mamas for Mamas Red Deer does the Adopt a Family. I know the Outreach Center doing a lot of different things this year with their Christmas Hope campaign. Basically, if you can, obviously not everyone can, but if you can, support something this holiday season. Obviously, do what you can, but even a little goes a long way right now, like Dustin said, just with the way things are going. So wanted to get that one out there because it is close to my heart, and something just more. This is just more the holiday spirit, and it's really coming up quick, like days after this is going to come out. So could be very dated for a lot of people, but just how exciting is it that Festival of Trees back in full force again this year?
Yeah, it is really cool. We've been there in the past with our kids, and they have the whole like kids Christmas alley or whatever it's called, where they can go and do different crafts and play games. And obviously it's really cool to see the trees. They also, like, throughout the weekends of it, at least, they have like a stage set up in there where they have different choirs or bands or stuff that come in throughout the day just to like play that background music, and just really lends to like the whole cheer and season of Christmas. And obviously it's for a great cause. They always buy or are able to get very needed hospital equipment out of this, and it's been a huge fundraiser. And we're lucky that in Central Alberta we have a great population of people that are just very giving, and there's some obviously very wealthy families out there that kind of headline this, and really at the end of the day they're just leading by example. So we're very fortunate, I think.
Yeah, so Festival of Trees, it runs November 25th to 27th. You have the Festival of Wines, obviously very popular. It's 18 plus, but that's a popular one. Mistletoe Magic, the father-daughter dance. And this one appeals to me the most. The Festival Pancake Breakfast on the Sunday. So if you're hearing this in time, you can go to reddeerfestivalofTrees.ca. More information there. Just, again, another great way to support a great cause in our community.
And if you're not hearing it in time, there's always next year.
Yeah, there you go. This one, just really quick, I want to mention because I think this is really cool, and my boss is putting it on, so I better suck up a bit. But I don't know, you guys, if you remember this back in like middle school, high school, this was always a thing. Haven't seen anything like it in Red Deer, but beginning of December, they're Peter Michaels and Patrick Bateman from The Road, the Stage, the podcast that the people here at Communal Creative Studios actually care about.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Where are Ryan and Riley tonight?
No shit, yeah.
Yeah, do you think they ever miss a Road, the Stage
No, I bet
podcast?
you they don't.
No.
Yeah. That's why this podcast is ending, and the Road to Stage is going through the roof.
They actually just had their most viewed interview ever, actually. But anyways, Peter and Patrick hosting a Red Deer Battle of the Bands, December 3rd. It's at the Flex, 4919 49th Street, December 3rd at 3 p.m. It's middle school, high school bands. You win like cash, gift cards, recording sessions, a whole lot more. I just think it's really cool that there's something like that exists, because I remember watching my friends play in high school and stuff, right? And I don't know if anything like that's been around here for a while.
Well, when we went to high school, what was that, 18 years ago now? Yeah, 18 years ago.
Let's not date ourselves.
Yeah, but whatever. Kev, your cousin, Brad Bremner, we had a little bit of Battle of the Bands, and now, it took them a little bit and a couple different bands, but they're killing it now. You could see some of these bands could be bands we're listening to on, he's on Spotify and shit, right?
Well, yeah, I don't think that's hard to get on Spotify, but they are doing.
And he has a great following.
Well, they tour
on
in
social media.
Yeah, and they tour in the States and overseas and stuff. So just a quick plug. I mean, it's called Calling All Captains. He's a Red Deer boy, but they're based out of St. Albert and Edmonton. They've been going at it for a number of years, kind of the punk emo kind of brand, which is a lot of high school music that we listen to. So anyways, I remember the Battle of the Bands back in the high school days. I thought it was really cool back then. But to your point, point, like I'm pretty sure that Blink-182 was either a high school band or just out of high school. Like, and there's a ton of awesome bands that are legendary that we'd all know that started that young. And sometimes it just takes that opportunity. I don't think the bands back when we were in high school, if you won Battle of the Bands at school, it was basically bragging rights and maybe like $100 or something. Like the fact that this is like recording time and some actual material value items, it could be life-changing. So it's awesome.
And just a great way too. Like for a lot of bands, is going to be their first gig. So tickets for that are $15. And I think they have a limited amount. Might be sold out. You can go to RD Battle of the Bands on Facebook for information. But really, just wanted to give Peter and Patrick and everyone who put that together a shout out because I just think that's really cool and something I didn't even know our music scene in Red Deer was lacking until I heard of that.
How cool would it be if you're a kid in middle school in a band and you win this Battle of the Bands contest against high school age kids? You would be like kings or queens of the school for the next 3 years.
Flip side of that.
Oh yeah.
What if we went and won the battle?
Oh man.
Just because you have a middle school reading level doesn't mean we can enter a middle school music competition.
I'm a pianist.
You don't even have to be able to read to play music.
Yeah, I'm a pianist.
You have to be able to read music.
That's not true.
Not really.
Remember when I thought
memory.
Mozart did the Mona Lisa?
Yeah, that's all we need to know. So
He still doesn't know what a pianist is.
I tickle the ivories.
Okay, yeah, he gets it. This guy gets it.
And another one, just trying to go through these quick, but there's lots to talk about. Of course, we have to mention Winterlust at Bose. Before, in a couple days after this recording, we're going to go to the kickoff on Monday night. They're doing like classic albums live, recreating Billy Joel's The Stranger. But there's lots going on, like the Forum presenting 54, like an aerial show November 26th. The lip sync battles for the Outreach Center. December 1st and 15th. Deer Rouge, which is a Red Deer based band too. Deer Rouge. Red Deer.
That's
Clever.
smart.
Yeah. December 2nd, there's the Drag Brunch on December 4th. Erin, I know you went to one of those.
Yep.
A lot of fun. And then Sips and Snips with Stems, which isn't guys like fathers. Don't worry about that one. It's like a floral arrangement class at Bose. It's kind of throughout December. And then the Ariel Christmas Family Brunch on December 20th. So again, that's another Forum show. And I think they got December 18th is the date. You can go to bosebar.com for all of that. And that's the one where for one day you actually can bring kids. So lots going on. If you went to Bose last year, like they do so much there for Christmas and it was amazing, and looking forward to doing that again. And just for time's sake, gonna head right into this. We haven't really planned this yet. All we know is we're like 99% sure this might get cut because maybe it's not gonna happen, but there's an open date, January 7th at Bose, and Brendan basically just sent Dustin and I an email saying, "Oh dear, rap party." So maybe probably January 7th. What we're going to have is a listener appreciation party. Don't worry, we're not doing a live show or anything, Lund. This is not going to be any work for you.
You guys have no idea what I'm thinking. Ever.
That's true.
There.
You were going to expand on that, but no.
Yeah. Dustin, we talked about this a bit too. We do want to do something like just show, maybe have, a fundraiser of sorts, like entry by donation, but just do a bunch of giveaways, have anyone who wants to come, just hang out. It's that weekend after New Year's, not really a lot going on. Just want to come out and have a fun night. And we just want to meet some more people, supporters of our show, and just thank everybody. So hopefully you can make it there for that. And hopefully at some point we get more information out there on that, because that's all I got right now. January 7th, mark it down, and then we'll make something happen.
I think we're about to slow down.
Working out.
Tell me you hit record.
That was bad.
It could happen to anybody.
Yeah, right.
Show the camera.
Yeah, show.
Diet starts tonight. Give me a Diet Coke.
That wasn't on you. I mean, you were on it. But
Yeah.
that wasn't on you.
Okay, I'll stand.
That was so loud, dude.
That was crazy.
Sounded like the floor broke.
Yeah, God, just give us a sign to end the podcast.
Put it on our tab.
Just hide it. Don't even tell them.
Yeah.
They won't even know it. They'll think the next guy that sits
I'm afraid
down
to
broke
sit
it.
on one now. Yeah, if you're just you're not just joining us, but we took a little break, and I broke a stool. And I'm sorry, Ryan and Riley. I really don't think, I think it could have happened to anybody.
I agree.
I disagree. But
No.
that's just me.
Before we move on, we do, as always, want to give our shout out to Door Tender because I'm very excited because for our farewell episode, Brian from Door Tender is coming. I haven't met him yet.
I haven't met
2
him.
years. We've been talking for 2 years. Probably the most like back and forth I've had with one of our partners. Never met him. So very excited to meet him. But again, just as always, thank you to them, our very first sponsor, and they're still with us. I better switch to diet here, I guess, so I don't break another stool. But still enjoying some beverages. You know the spiel by now with Door Tender. Go to doortender.ca, download the app. It's free delivery. They're great people and hopefully killing it in Edmonton.
Be Ryan.
All right. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for the input, guys. And Andrew Russell, not here tonight, but normally we do just the tips or the Andrew Russell minute. So I guess that is officially done. He didn't even know the last one was his last one, but still give him a shout out nonetheless. So, yep.
I could probably do this one, Ted. If you got a house and prices are high, sell. When prices are low, buy. That's it.
Succinct.
That was
Shorter
just the
than
tips
Andrew.
with Andrew Russell and Associates.
This-
Remax Energy.
This guy gets it.
Yeah, and trim your bushes.
All right. Erin, I hope you're emotionally prepared for this because you are about to do your last ever Oh Dear podcast ad read because it's time to move on to Deer Call.
I thought you were consoling Aaron. I forgot you were even doing it.
I thought at first Erin was going, oh. And then just-
That was the best deer call you have ever had. My God, kid.
Well, we never got an actual deer hunter on
Yeah.
to validate my deer
oh,
calls.
that was so good. I'm not even mad you're having a fourth beer.
I think I deserve a fourth
Yeah, you
beer
do.
after
You
that
do.
deer call.
Deer Call is brought to you by Cilantro and Chive, home of the Caesar that eats like a meal. Stop in at either location in Red Deer or Lacombe for the burger of the month and support a great cause, with $2 from every burger sold going back to the local guest chef's charity of choice. Cilantro and Chive, your favorite new destination to meet with family and friends for food, drink, conversation, and fun.
And when I'm there next, I'm having a salad. Saving stools. I don't. No. Done. Pulling the chute. Yeah. Anyways, Erin, that was it.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm sad.
I think, though, we should do a very quick aside and say how great it's been having Erin do the ad reads, honestly. I think you do them better, and it's just was a great way to bring you into the podcast, and now you're just a full-time part of it, and that ad reads is just one of the things you do. But how about a round of applause for Erin's ad reading? Yeah.
I'm not sure you guys had a choice. You brought me on for ad reads and I just never left. So
And somehow
Because you
Sorry.
passed the test.
somehow you weaseled your way up to the main table.
I did. I did. I love it.
I loved having you around.
You're
Yeah.
you're the best.
This has
at
been the
not
most
only
fun.
at ad reads, but bringing a level of legitimacy to the podcast and professionalism that none of us have ever brought before.
Oh man, that's a lot of pressure. I think
Yeah.
I actually probably brought us down a few times
You know,
or
but
definitely took us off track.
But you're like the roller, you need the ups and the downs, and you provided both of those. Let's get on with it though before Lund's tongue gets too big to speak.
Yeah.
'Cause he's having.
Great at ad reads, bad hair day. Great at ad reads, bad hair day.
Yeah, they balanced.
Yeah, balance. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did this one way back on episode 7. Was a lot of fun. Seems fitting for this one to do it again. For our last ever deer call, we just said, ask us anything. This time we also had an option to ask us anything anonymously. So we got some pretty good, weird questions here. We did get a lot, so have to filter a few out. And since we're doing a farewell episode after this one, I saved a couple of the podcast specific ones for that, but we're still going to be we don't want to double up on what we're saying next episode. This could get pretty long, so probably going to cut a lot of it out for the podcast, but like last time too, you could go to YouTube eventually at some point and see the full version of this if you really want to get deep inside our minds.
How
And
many YouTube subscribers do we have?
Almost 200,
Yeah.
I think.
What?
More than 0, less than 1 million. Yeah. Start off with fitting one for our Deer Call sponsor. Seahawk_mum on Instagram asked, a favorite menu item at Cilantro and Chive.
Easy. Dill pickle poutine. All day, every day.
There's a lot of good options, but I'd say one of the Caesars that eats like a meal.
Good idea, Lund.
Thank you. I would say the burger of the month, just because it's different every month, and I know from experience people do put a lot of thought into those burgers.
If you're Erin reading my ad reads, I write it's the month of the month for like 5 straight episodes.
I like the little mac and cheese balls.
Oh, those
yeah,
are
those are good.
There's a lot. I'm a big fan of the duck wings.
Yeah.
those
Actually,
things
yeah.
are huge.
Yeah, that's part of why. Maybe I need to eat regular size wings. I won't break any more stools. But there we go. That's an easy one. This would actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll get right into this. Julia asked, what is your favorite thing about Red Deer?
Yeah, mine's easy. The community champions that live in our city. You know, the Brennan Wokes, the Riley Kays, the Renee Rondeaus, the Bud Kellys, all
The
these.
Dustin Morris.
Oh,
I'll say it,
The Ken Johnsons, like there's so many that bring our city to a level where there's a lot of people that bring it down, but there's much more people that bring it up. That's my favorite part.
I'll just piggyback on that because for me, it's the people too, but it's more like I've lived here for just over 7 years now. And I think too, a lot of it is thanks to all of you, like especially Dustin, because you're like the unofficial mayor of Red Deer and I've met so many people through you, but I feel like I've lived here my whole life. Because people are so welcoming. They don't care how new you are, right? Like it's so easy to make relationships with people here too and keep them. And the people, again, my favorite thing about Red Deer too.
Yeah, obviously that's number one for me, but I'll go further and just talk about, you know, the trail system.
And the weather.
The weather. It's been beautiful the last couple summers, but
The birthday parties.
well, we have all these great perks that you go and have birthday parties down at King Canyon or wherever. Like it's stuff like that, just having the opportunity to get active and get outside with your family and still have a good and safe time and do it in beautiful places. So I think we live in one of the greatest cities, and it's unfortunate that a lot of people from out of town just think we're Gasoline Alley, and I kind of take that personal a little bit and like
My answer was going to be gasoline. I'll scrap that.
hey, Gasoline Alley's great, but we're more than that.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing, the accessibility of the green spaces and especially so much along the river and just the Red Deer River in general. We've floated it and had the most incredible time doing that, taking our horses swimming in the river. And it's just, I didn't have that in Calgary. We didn't really float the river much. It was a kind of a pain in the butt to do so. The bow can be really dangerous. So the Red Deer River is really incredible to have so accessible.
So yeah, you guys have taken all the obvious ones, but I'll go. This one's pretty obvious too. Red Deer hosts a lot of great events. Mm-hmm. Like I think being located where we are between Edmonton and Calgary, we kind of get the benefit of being centralized and like the CFR, for example, the Wine and Food Festival. There's so many things going on. Like every weekend, there's something to do here. Even though the bar scene is lackluster right now, there's still lots and lots of stuff to do, and you don't have to go far to find it. So that's that's what I love most about the city.
All right, now we're going to go on the flip side, of course, because SL Flyer on Instagram asked, and I'd like to go first on this one because just to kind of build off what we said. What's your least favorite thing about Red Deer? And I'm going to say it's about, for a lot of people who live here, their attitude towards the city they live in. And I'm going to go on a soapbox here because especially since starting at the radio station, we post a lot of stuff looking for opinions every day. And one was right when the giant Cheeto was in Cheadle, Alberta. And, we asked, hey, what kind of giant thing would be in Red Deer? Looking for some fun answers. And we got honestly 50, 60 people go, oh, a giant crack pipe or this or that. I'm like, have you ever been to any other city ever? Do you think only Red Deer has people who smoke crack and issues and stuff? And the thing about that is, look, every city has its problems. I get it. But a lot of people who don't live here shit on Red Deer all the time. So if we're doing it, of course, everyone else is going to do it too. So yeah, you know what? We have our issues for sure. But I just think you just have to have pride in where you live or else, no one else is going to respect your city if you don't. So that is a huge pet peeve of mine. And again, so many more people that you see out there and we've seen from this podcast who love this city, and that's what we talk about, and that's why we connect with people on this podcast. But even if it's one bad attitude towards every 100 good attitudes, it still spoils it. So that is my least favorite thing about Red Deer.
So I don't even know if we can build off that because that was such a great answer and I couldn't agree more. And I think if we rewind the podcast, I don't think you can do that. It's not a VCR.
Oh, yeah, we can.
that was actually a perfect rewind.
I know.
Yeah, this guy used to work at Blockbuster.
That guy
The
gets it.
machine didn't make any noise, but he was under the counter making it sound like, let me just rewind this. Lund, go.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't rewind your VHS. That's $2.
Is that your least
You
favorite
guys
thing about
remember
Red Deer?
paying? Do you guys remember paying for that shit?
Be kind, please rewind.
Yeah, on every single tape, the sticker
Or
on
the
front.
late fees. Oh my god, that used to be my most hated thing about Red Deer. The late fees from Blockbuster.
Okay, so
from Video Update.
can you rewind me one more time? So when Ken Johnston, our mayor, said that is how we're going to fix the stigma of downtown, is to change. People have to change their attitudes on, and first he said we're going to fix the shelter problem, which they're on that. Our city council and the mayor are on that. And then he said people are going to have to change their mindsets on what Red Deer is. And I couldn't agree more. So I'm not going to touch this one.
Well, you did, and you built on it perfectly.
I touched it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go because you guys got super serious. So,
Hey, Kev, can you lighten it up a little bit?
all right, the thing I hate most that I can think of off the top of my head, because I did no pre-work on this, is the traffic lights on 30th Avenue, like getting from Collicut to Timberlands.
It's very specific.
Well, but it's been like that forever.
That's
It's
where I
been like
drive
that
every
when we
day. I'm
first
with
started.
you, yeah.
Exactly. When we started driving, that drive was so hard, and that was before Timberlands was even like. I bought
Used to be a driving range.
I bought a used car out like where the co-op is. It was on a gravel road, sitting on the side of the road. So it's always been like that. Nothing's gonna change. It's just there's too many busy streets around there. But I'm gonna bitch about that.
It's pretty, I think you have a lot of people with you right now.
The cell phone reception up in the Northeast.
Oh my goodness.
yours?
Mine.
Sorry.
So shout out, he probably doesn't listen, but shout out to Lawrence Lee, the counselor, the Red Deer counselor, because I know he's been on it. He's been pushing for it. I think TELUS adding a tower right away, but doesn't help me. But yeah, anyways, go ahead. I'm taking over your thing here, Erin.
No, it's just a pain in the butt, and I can't call my husband or my mother every time I leave that quadrant of the city.
Aaron, I 1,000% agree with you. By far and away, that's my number one pet peeve, especially working from home the last two years or so. I'll take a call, personal call or a call from work, and then the call will get dropped, or I'll cut out for 10 seconds, and then we're not sure if it's from where I am. Like, I know it's from where I am, but the client might be on the road and they think it's them. And I'll say no, it's my fault. I'm in the northeast part of Red Deer. I'm in the northeast part of the city.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm in the city and I don't have any reception.
And let's clarify, this whole time that you're talking to this person and cutting out, you're not moving. You're sitting
I'm in
the same spot.
I'm sitting in my chair in my office, and it's just cutting out randomly. And it always seems to cut out like the most important part of the conversation too.
Like, what wire do I cut? Oh, the red one. Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. So, but I did, and Ted, you did bring it up. I did see that TELUS is building a tower on that end of town by the end of 2022. So hopefully we only have a month left of this crap.
It might beat this podcast coming out.
But isn't that crazy that that's even a thing that exists?
We're in the city.
Yeah.
We're in city limits.
So like people call me and we'll be cutting out and they'll be like, "Oh, are you in Timberlands?" Like I can hear them say that, but I just can't respond.
That's the worst part is
wild.
You can hear them perfectly.
Yes.
But they can't hear you. And you're cutting out. It must be me. But so the two things. One, I don't know how true this is, but I think it's because they can't get an LTE tower in that area of town because there's too many, like 2 bird sanctuaries close by. I can't confirm that. That's what I've heard. But the trick is it's very annoying. But you have to go into your cellular data on your phone, switch to 3G, and then I have no issues taking phone calls at home if I switch to 3G.
Are we on 5G?
Yeah.
Like, when is 5G? Like isn't Bill Gates
You're on 5G
injecting us with
already.
microchips? So
it's
5G
LTE is the issue. So anyways, that is a great one, and hopefully it can be solved. But
that
there's
was
a
a really
trick
good one.
if you are having bad cell phone reception. But then I go to certain parts again, like down by like the Polytechnic and stuff. I have to switch back to LTE because there's not very good 3G service down there. So there's a workaround, but it's very annoying. I think the bottom line though is we all have our pet peeves, but we still love Red Deer.
I think if this is the shit we're complaining about, we're pretty lucky.
Yes.
This is definitely a first first world
problem.
And it still sucks. It's annoying, but you know what? We'll be able to handle it.
So let's move on to something way less serious. We had 3 different people ask this, honestly. Liesel and 2 anonymous listeners who both could have been Erin. I don't know. They said, when are we going to get a Co-Worker Erin spin-off podcast?
Ooh. When I tell you that I have never been so flattered, like when Ted told me, I almost cried. And the fact that it was people that I didn't know was huge. So first of all, thank you to those 3 people. That made my absolute day, if not month. Now,
this is why you look so fancy tonight.
Yes, this is for my
This is an
fans.
audition. This is an audition for the next pod.
What I will say is that I am unwilling to do the level of work that Ted does, and also Ted is unwilling to do the work for me, which is fair. However, if somebody is interested, reach out. If you want to be a sponsor, we can make this happen. We're not doing this weekly, but if you just want to hear my opinions like once a month for 20 minutes, I can tell you how to run
Erin
your
will
life.
come over to your house and tell you her opinion.
Honestly, maybe.
We should actually do it like
rent
door
a
tender.
person.
It'd be like door tender. We just send Erin.
Just someone just come door to door to boss
just talk
you
to
around.
you.
Yeah.
Just rent Erin.
Rent Erin.
That's different. And
Yeah,
that's probably not legal.
illegal.
But
Yeah.
here, I'm going to put this out there right now. If someone wants to sponsor an Erin Runs Your Life type of podcast, it's 20 minutes every 2 weeks, a month or whatever. We get a sponsor, especially if it's just you, Erin. That will take me 20 minutes to edit. I will do it. It'll be the first subsidiary podcast of Oh Dear.
I would like to know what your podcast would be about. Like,
No,
how would you?
I want people to ask me questions and I'll tell them my thoughts. I have no training in that, but I've literally done it for most of you.
We could do a one-on-one
I think
interview
you've
with
done
you
it
and
most of your
Erin.
life.
Talk about your life, right? Like, I think...
I'd listen.
Yeah. So if anyone out there wants to get behind that, maybe hopefully, pay for a little studio time here at Communal Creative Studios, whatever it is. Yeah, Erin, I will, because if I only have to edit, I don't have to plan anything, try to organize 6-7 different people. I think that's a very easy thing to do, and I think it would be great.
There we go. We got the editor lined up. Now we just need the benefactor.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm ready to be the first podcast in the Oh Dear Podcast Network.
What would you call your show?
Erin Runs Your Life, because that's what she
But I
does
think
for mine.
I think we can do better than that, but that's the gist.
Okay.
Also, we're also looking for names.
Yeah.
So, and I wasn't going to put this in here because Julia even freaking asked this the last time we did this Ask Us Anything, but this is just for Erin because now this is a preview of the Co-Worker Erin podcast. And you can pull no punches here. Don't worry about this.
Mm-hmm.
Say...
We can cut it if I make you cry.
No, you won't. You might really actually help me on some self-realization. Julia says, why is Ted single?
You know what? I've got an answer. Number 1, it's by choice. Ted has options. So...
I
You
didn't
are
see that
choosing to be single. Also, you're scared of being hurt.
Cool.
Oh,
The truth hurts.
No.
No, that wasn't scary at all.
No. You're scared to put yourself out there and meet the one.
Yeah, but you're also having fun.
You are having fun, for sure. And you are absolutely single by choice.
And you picked the right guy to live with for the fun.
Yeah.
First of all, I actually expected a little more brutal than that. But, one thing I will say being friends with Erin has taught me, A, you need friends that you can go on gossip walks with and just talk about whatever.
Yes.
And B, I've learned, if we're going to go serious for a second, this is maybe what the first episode is going to look like. I've learned over the last couple of years after getting divorced that your relationship status does not define you, even though a lot of people like to joke, oh, Ted, you're single. Oh, and I said, well, your wife just smacked you for making that joke, and I've had 10 beers. So, who's really living the terrible life, right? So, thank you. I was expecting way worse. Suck it, Julia.
I don't think she's done. Go ahead, Erin.
Oh.
No. We'll save it for the first episode.
So we'll go back to, we've got more kind of on that. People kind of but focused on Lund and I a bit in the anonymous questions, but just a fun one. Karina wants to know toilet paper roll over or under. I want to find out who here is a serial killer.
I'm always over.
I would say I'm over.
Generally over, but I'm a wild card. I'll whatever way it lands, I'll let it fly.
I'm a complete joker as well. I don't know I don't actually know the answer to this one.
He's never looked.
I just put it on.
Yeah.
Mullet or not mullet?
So I set it up over, but if it's under, I'm not perturbed enough to switch it.
Yeah, I know.
I remember one time
when
we used to have, like, during the Chubs, when it was in Red Deer, you'd have people over, and I went into my bathroom the next day, and someone, very nice of them to replace the roll, but they put it under, and I said, no more parties. That's it.
What are you guys saying? You guys think over is the more popular answer? Or do you think it's 50-50?
I could give a shit.
Well done.
And I think I whistled. Oh, I did a pun. I whistled though when
there
I
is
did
a correct answer. I think the guy who patented it had a.
I love all the
diagram.
I love the diagrams when they ask this question. There's like engineering, like arrows and stuff, and like the best way it flows. And I don't know what it is, but over for me just makes more sense.
I've never heard you give a more thought.
It was toilet paper, of course.
Engineer
Says the guy who bought a bidet.
You guys should hear.
Yeah, I used that the other day though. That was nice.
Yeah, so you guys got a drinking fountain for when I throw up in your toilet?
So well, okay, let me go on then.
Okay.
So I did buy that Tushy 2.0, which is a home bidet. And let me tell you, if you have an extra $100, I would recommend it. It is think about it.
Heated water?
No, it's not heated.
But
It shocks
I've
the
used it
system.
at 4:30 in the morning before, though.
It wakes you up.
I'm up.
It wakes you up.
Aaron, it needs to be heated. And I
Yeah.
thought you said, Lundy tell you. I didn't know you said, let me. I thought you said, and Lundy tell you, I got the Tush 2.0.
But anyway, so like think about it logically. You have dirty hands. Let's say you have muddy hands. You don't just get paper towel and wash your hands off. No, you run them underwater. You get wet. Why is your ass any different? Why wouldn't you get your ass wet and get all that crap out of there?
Why, after 30 episodes, you've never spoken more clearly and passionately about anything than wiping your ass?
This Tushy has revolutionized the toilet game.
It needs to be warm.
I think people are too ashamed to talk about it, and I'm a toilet guy. I love toilet humor. I love. You should have heard the toilet jokes I was making.
But
don't get me started.
Yeah, we won't. But that was. I like that. Really quick, just let's answer real quick. Brandon wants to know your favorite bar, restaurant, shop, just place to visit in downtown Red Deer.
Saks Thrift Ave. And it's not because they're a sponsor. Every time I have friends in town, we go there. I have many, many cute pieces of clothing from them. I know their records and whatever. I'm there for the clothes. The vintage clothes are amazing.
Saros.
What is that?
It's a Italian restaurant downtown.
Oh,
Red
yeah,
Deer.
I did know that.
It's delicious.
Amazing lasagna and local.
So I'll piggyback off that one. Hopefully I say it right. It's Podi Dong, I think.
Pho Thai Dung.
Yeah, but I've been told it's pronounced Podi.
Oh,
but
Is that the one
it's right by Superstore.
Oh, yeah.
Vietnamese
Amazing.
place.
Amazing.
Great price, quick. Can't recommend it enough.
So for me, I'm gonna Famoso I think is close enough to downtown. That's probably my favorite spot to go. Pizza's great. Owner's
even better.
shit bag. Just kidding, Ryan. No, owner's a good guy.
He has not listened to one episode of this podcast.
I know,
he
that's
tells
a
me
test.
every time I've seen him.
That guy's a piece of shit. If you heard this, Ryan, I'll know you listened.
There's a lot. I thought someone was going to say here, Communal Creative Studios. Obviously, we've had a lot of fun here. Oh, Dustin wrote it down.
CCS.
Yeah, but I love what's been happening with the Ross Street patio. Even right now, right? It's all lit up in the winter time. But in the summer, they've got the music going on. A couple different restaurants you can order from when you sit there. So a great thing. It's only getting better too there. But that is my favorite thing. Brad, really quick. Ryan Lund and Kevin Walsh. Yes or no? Brad wants to know: will there be a deer hunt too?
Yes, there will. It will be bigger and better than ever. You can take that to the bank. Go ahead, Kevin. Answer.
Well, I was going to say, I really want to. And I think that we really, if we pull it off again, we have to start planning earlier, just because it is a lot of work, but it's also,
I think it's worth it.
It's worth it.
And we were gonna do it this year, but it was just, the timing just didn't work out. With everyone just got too sidetracked, and
well, it was like coming out of COVID, and you know,
we had everyone's got excuses. We just didn't make it a priority. But yes, the dream is to have a deer hunt 2, a deer hunt 3.
Well, we'll see. We'll just start it.
And a deer hunt 4 and 5.
All right. So the answer is yes on that one. This is the last one, our non-anonymous ones. Val wants to know, how many Brussels sprouts can you make Lund eat by beating him at rock, paper, scissors?
So let me give you some background. We're at Bose. We're there for the Rustlers.
Pub night.
Pub night. We're having a great time. Val loves to play. So this is my sister-in-law. She loves to play games, and she started playing rock, paper, scissors with Lund. And if he lost, he had to eat the Brussels sprouts, which if you're going to have Brussels sprouts, at Bo's, they are the best. However, they are still Brussels sprouts. Lund is very, very bad at rock, paper, scissors. Lost every game. Had to keep eating the Brussels sprouts. Was a petulant child. It was like you were making him eat. He would have been happier eating dirt. I've never seen a sadder, more.
Yeah.
He was doing that thing you do when you're a kid where you just chew, 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 but you don't swallow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the most vegetables I've eaten in quite a while.
I see you eat vegetables. That's not true.
I eat the good vegetables, but not Brussels sprouts.
I love Brussels sprouts. But anyways, the answer is as many as you want because he keeps losing.
Yeah.
The answer is 17. I think that's how many Brussels sprouts I had that night. And that's my max.
Miserable for every single one of them.
That's why I drink, because I have to eat Brussels sprouts when I drink.
Now we'll get on to the anonymous questions. A lot of these were weird and we don't know how to answer it because we don't know who asked. Would Ted please put on his firefighter outfit again? The answer is slide into my DMs. I don't know who's asking.
Oh, yes.
That's something I would do the firefighter calendar again.
Yeah.
I think we all would do. I don't think we're going to get asked to do it again. But I would.
And the mayor of Red Deer does not want to see the photo of it again. I'll tell you that much.
I think when he's out of office, he'll take the photo, but
he didn't. He left it here. He didn't even bring it with him.
No, it's a scandal. That's a scandal waiting to happen.
This one too, and this might only be to me and Lund, but maybe for everyone else here. Pretend you're single. Would you ever be friends with benefits? Again, depends who's asking. Depends on the situation, and probably getting those DMs.
See, I have no idea. I've been dating my wife since high school and never...
That wasn't even a thing when we were young.
Yeah, and there was no internet dating. There was no Tinder. There's no any of that. So I don't even know. I don't know how to function in today's society.
I'm an adult woman. I'm not interested in situationships. I couldn't go back to anything like that.
I think honestly at this age, friends with benefits is the same thing as dating. I don't think you can call it whatever you want, but if you're doing it, you're dating. So my answer is no, I will not. But give me a call.
So we just had Dustin. Thanks for running downstairs. We are recording our farewell episode right after this, and the first bit of our studio audience is here, and we're doing Deer Call right now, sponsored by Cilantro and Chive, and Riley is here. And he brought us a bunch of food, so we're going to hurry this along.
And Cousin Dane.
Everyone can give their opinion, but who's the most sad that the podcast is coming to an end?
Dustin.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Now, if it was who's the most mad,
it's me. I'm the most mad.
you got your own pod. Maybe Riley will sponsor the Co-Worker Erin podcast, right?
Put the pressure on.
He already owes us $10 for opening a can while we're recording. So. Look for a hair studio. All right, easy one. This we don't even have to elaborate on this. Who will get a girlfriend first, Ted or Lund?
Yeah, I'll say Lund because I'm better.
You're gettable.
He doesn't want to be single. Ted wants to be single.
I'm ungettable?
They're both gettable.
No, I just mean
I'm not easy though. I don't want the world to get me confused with being easy.
I think you're easy.
You're more receptive to a relationship right now than I am.
I think it's Ted.
I'm with Erin.
I think Ted's coming up on an era of Ted.
Ted's still married. So gotta wade through that.
His married people have never had a girlfriend or boyfriend. Yeah.
Fair.
This one's just for Erin. Which oh dear guy would Erin marry if she had to?
So here's the thing. I think you guys all have a lot of positives and negatives. I don't see any of the marriages lasting. I think Dustin, we'd have a ton of fun. Ted, we have a really good connection.
We'd be married forever.
We would
Even if we got divorced, we wouldn't get divorced.
Yeah. Lun, I love you. It might be you. And Kevin, I think that you would provide a really wonderful, fulfilling life for us. So I don't think I could go wrong.
Answer the question, Erin.
Yeah.
She likes to have fun. We know the answer.
Yeah. No, you know what? I'd throw your names in a hat and I'd take my lot in life.
Okay.
We'll do that later.
That's good. Yeah. Just in case. That's a win for all of us. This one's just single ? What? Yes?
No.
No.
Yes.
Nope.
Yeah, that was an easy one. Shout me out. It's just all someone said. So, hey, you, a person who submitted your question anonymously, this one's for you. Who would go on a blind date? So again, just hypothetical if you're single.
A lot of thirsty bitches out there in Red Deer.
But you know what? I don't think like a blind date. I don't think I would. And here's the thing is, I hate when people are like, hey, you should meet my friend, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I don't like when people just assume that like I'm like desperately lonely and they need to set me up. That's a me thing. But the blind date, I don't think I would.
have a bad attitude about that because it's not that we think that you need a partner. It's that we see qualities in you that we think would match with somebody else.
Oh,
but then some people say, here's my friend. And I go,
I want to jump in here because if someone's just like, oh, I want to set you up, it's not always just because they think, you need it or whatever.
I think
It's
a blind date could be fun if the
Be
person's
open.
good.
if I say to someone,
sucks,
I just want to go to someone and say, set me up. I don't, because it just puts a weird pressure on it too. Like, hey, I know that I got this friend that you need to meet them. And then you've got like almost this third person involved in the date. I know that's just my personal feelings. I know, it works out great for a lot of people. And I'm sure, maybe my attitude will change, but I'm not a big blind date guy.
Be open to new experiences. Say yes.
And maybe I'll come facilitate that date if you think I'm there anyway.
Here's an interesting one that actually I think, I don't know, how many exes do you have? And
3.
so you just know it right off the hop, eh?
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Oh, you wrote it down. Because then we're talking like, are we talking like legit relationships? Like you actually have put some sort of label on it? Like,
That's
right? Like,
what I take it as. And I would be 3 as well.
Nice. I held hands with one.
Well,
If we're
Grade
talking about
6.
holding
okay.
hands.
I didn't actually date anybody till I'd graduated university.
Okay, so we're talking about that.
Holding hands,
0.
probably
Yeah.
7 or 8.
Like legit, how many like girlfriends do you think you have though?
Walsh has like 4,000 from middle school.
Those don't count.
No, like we're talking serious
every Monday,
relationships.
he'd be holding hands with a
Yeah,
new girl.
he's smooching another one.
But I didn't mean that for this to happen, Kevin. I'm sorry.
I
I'll
fully
answer-
expected it when I saw this question.
I'd probably be about 6 or 7, including being married. Yeah.
I'd be probably 0.
Yeah, 7.
I was 1 before my wife.
Yeah. There we go.
I feel like a lot of them are about dating.
Yeah, I know. I told you people kind of came after us a bit. When was the last time you wet the bed? And not, like for me, honestly, I would have been a kid. I peed my pants the first time I got drunk in like grade 8, but I was just walking around outside.
We're going to unpack that later.
Yeah.
I don't remember how old I was, but I remember it was at a sleepover and it had been years since I had, and this was the last time I did. And I just remember being really, really embarrassed by it. Like I knew I was too old.
I think I'm like you. I think I was like 7.
Yeah.
Pee sleepover.
Yeah.
Called my mom.
Yeah.
Call your mom.
Can't spell sleepover without a P.
All right.
It just sucks when you go to a sleepover with a plastic sheet.
Oh, easy on the fluids, buddy.
Yeah.
Dustin, why is your sleeping bag so
sleep with
noisy?
Fuller.
Yeah. I was going to say he was going to sleep with Fuller tonight.
Does anyone though like being like having too much to drink or anything like that just had that? I know there's people who've like on things like Robaxa set and then had too much to drink have wet the bed, but
What's your definition of wetting the bed? Because I think in one time in the last 10 years.
We're not talking about
I
wet
think it's pretty
dreams,
clear,
bud.
man.
No.
oh, he was pee stains in
So
that last
here's
game,
a
right?
story, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Like in sometime in the last 10 years, sometimes you have those dreams where you're peeing, you're about to pee in your dream, and then you wake up, and then you're like, "Fuck, I gotta pee." One time, it like started coming out, not like a lot. Like I wouldn't say I wet the bed. But like my boxers were wet on the front.
Was the bed wet?
No, because it was enough that woke me up.
He's
and
been
then
doing
I went
his exercises so he could snap it off. pretty quick,
I'm mad enough to say that it happened at some point in the last 10 years. That happened once.
I'm not mad enough to say that. I'll say like 12 or 13.
I also,
really?
Yeah.
That's
Probably middle school.
Oh, I'm not so embarrassed.
I was a bedwetter till like middle school.
Oh, really?
Did you bring plastic sheets to your sleepover?
Don't laugh. That's a thing, Kevin.
No, I just went home.
You just pissed their bed and went home.
I'm out. See you later.
I think it's
My work here is done.
very important to say right now
Hey,
that
Mrs. Henderson, take care of this pee bed while I just go home.
Had a
I'm gonna
great
walk
time.
home.
Thanks for the meal.
no one else can see this, but Riley brought his cousin with him, who none of us have ever met, and he's sitting here listening to this. Never met any of us,
we
but
have a really great podcast.
this is why it's ending. Yeah. I think that's a great time to end the Ask Us Anything too. So thank you to everyone who submitted your questions. That was a lot of fun. And you know what? Again, something we can still do like on social media, on video and stuff, because I actually really like doing those. So, hard to believe, but we've pretty much reached the end of our last formal episode, or Dustin, just official episode of Oh Dear, which is pretty crazy to think. We'll be back with a very informal farewell episode, just so we can say a proper thank you to everyone who supported us over the last 2 years. We'll have some more friends in studio joining us. So yeah, we're going to record it right after this. Going to be lots of fun, especially if you're Ryan Lund. So you can expect that episode coming out on December 11th, the 2-year anniversary of Oh Dear. So we're going to do this later so everyone can watch, but we do have to do our hot chip challenge that Walsh, Lund, and I have to do. But we're going to do that at the very end because we don't want to try to record after doing it. So we're going to do it later, but right now we're going to cut to see how it went.
Hey, Lundy, take us into the future,
Yeah,
bud.
take us into the time travel, bud. Sound like an alien.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you have a time machine that you can make a sound effect?
Yeah, you had a better one last time. Try again.
Because I can reverse. That's the reverse. Yeah, I was doing the reverse of that because that's the reverse.
So, all right.
This guy knows.
Hot chip challenge. Here we go.
All right. So 3 of you have to eat this, but
And 3 of you get to eat.
yes, we've opened it up to the studio audience. Full disclosure, we've broken the chips into like 4 or 5 pieces because we don't need to send anybody to Emerge tonight. But as our final act, this is the last thing that we're actually recording for the podcast, is eating these chips together. So, let's fuck around and find out, boys.
Fuck around and find out.
So, and hey, yeah, we have the athlete joining us too, and Mike Pasman. Mike, you don't have a glove, so I'm going to feed you yours.
Give it to me.
Oh, come on. Come on. Please grab that one.
Kevin.
No.
Grab
No.
that one.
No.
Get it in your mouth already before it starts to react.
Oh, you guys put it in?
Yeah.
Going?
Cheers.
Oh no. It's so gross.
Oh, it doesn't taste good.
Oh, that's a mistake.
Oh.
It starts off not bad, and you're like, this isn't as bad as people think.
It starts off okay,
And then it gets
and then
real
it just
bad.
fucks you right up.
Yeah.
Can I have that?
Oh, it's already giving me the hiccups. I'm drinking.
Who's going to be the last to drink something?
This was a real bad idea, and I'm really sorry. I guess mine.
Oh, I can't.
Me and you?
I'm going to drink.
Like, it's not good.
You're gonna yarp?
No.
Kevin's just standing there like a normal human.
I know, I'm a little...
Like, it's not good. Like, oh, I just can't stop drooling. That's it. It hurts.
Yeah, it hurts a lot.
Oh my God, I'd rather get married again. Oh my God, it sucks. It's getting worse.
Milk was a bad choice.
Oh, I told myself I wasn't going to cry.
Yeah, don't do this challenge. Oh.
Not good, Dustin.
All right, we lost Walsh.
The watering mouth is happening.
Hot chip challenge. Don't do it.
No.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, and we're back, not knowing how that went, but I'm guessing it's going to be terrible. And stay tuned to obviously for the video of that. So again, not our final goodbye, but I want to throw to everyone really quickly for their final thoughts as we wrap up this episode.
Yeah, I mean, you in the Deer Call, you had mentioned that I'd be the saddest of this podcast. I'm just so proud of what we've accomplished here. You know, people have listened, which is crazy. He's in the room today, but we've had so many great partners and community people in Riley and Brennan and Louie, and the list goes on and on and on. I've had so much fun doing it. And of course, I'm going to be the saddest because I just love getting together with all my friends and having drinks and supporting community. And I mean, Riley threw me a beer that I've never had today, and it's the coolest looking can I've ever seen. I'm going to miss all that, of course, but
Man, you
I'm
can
just,
still drink beer.
Yeah.
I just won't see Riley as much. Well, maybe I'll see him at Cilantro, but I've just had a blast.
So again, everyone, keeping in mind that this isn't our final goodbye.
Okay. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
one,
it's
though.
not bad.
Anyone else?
Man, that chip was spicy.
Perfect.
Is this where I get sappy, or do I do that on the next one?
Next one. This
Okay.
is just like, this is our last formal episode.
Yeah, I thought the last one was informal. I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
we are gonna have microphones or dress shirts
Oh,
or
yeah.
what. I
Don't have
If
to
you're
wear
still
shirts.
listening, thank you.
Yeah. So this is the last episode doing like all the segments that we do, that type of stuff. So you could speak to that.
No, I think that this has been a ton of fun and gotten me involved in the community in a way that I don't think I would have otherwise. And that's been really wonderful. And meeting everybody that I've met and becoming good friends with all of you has been really incredible. And just having so many people be excited that we're doing this and believe in us is crazy and has been really amazing.
I said mine. To anyone still listening, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to save mine for our actual last episode.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So with that, one last
too.
huge thank you to Mayor Ken Johnston for taking the time to join us for our final podcast interview. He was sure to let us know too that he had a great time, and obviously we all did too. And hopefully again can catch up with him again in the future. Of course, thank you as always to our presenting sponsor, Bo's Bar and Stage, Communal Creative Studios, Ryan and Riley, for letting us use the space tonight, even though they're busy elsewhere. So for the second last time, for Kevin Walsh, Dustin Moore, Ryan Lund, and Co-Worker Erin, I'm Ted Emmett. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time for our final farewell.